Yes, it's 8 p.m. on Tuesday night here live on the SLZ Network, as always. I'm Rich Mancuso. This is Sports with Rich. There's the whiz, Robert Rizzo, my co-host. Like, comment, and subscribe to Sports with Rich on the SLG Network and my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. Now, that's Avery, our producer in the background right there. Good evening, Avery. Good evening, Wiz. And let's tell everybody what we're doing tonight. A special edition of Sports with Rich tonight. We are doing a watch-along of Game 3 of the World Series. Philadelphia Phillies at home. Game 3, Citizens Bank Park against those Houston Astros. Series tied 1-1, as if you already didn't know. But it's a key game as the Phillies return home, where they're undefeated at home, as well as the Astros, an undefeated team in the postseason. This will be a different type of show because the three of us will be here. And we'll be joined along by other networks that do watch along. So we're doing something different. We want you to watch as you're watching the World Series. Comment in the cube as you do every week, and we'll get to those comments. Watch along. Give us your comments, what's going on. Of course, we'll interject what's going on. The Wiz and I, of course, we were at the ballpark all year. We know a lot about these two teams. We know a lot about the Phillies. We know a lot about the Astros. We covered the Mets and Yankees in New York. And the guys who are coming out of Houston, I believe, with the Bayou Network, I believe. Is it Avery? Who's joining us on the watch-along tonight?
That's correct. So on the watch along tonight, we'll be joined by the Bayou City Boys, those hosts, Zach, Nick, and possibly Caleb from that network. We'll have Calvin, the other producer here, eventually as well. So we'll have a full house tonight.
And Wiz, let's get right to it before we cue everybody in and so start beginning the game. It's just about to start, and we'll be monitoring pitch by pitch. We're going to hang in there at least for 2 hours. At least I will. You might. You're the young puppy. You're my protege. You're younger. You could probably go past 2 hours, 2.5. We'll have that box up. We'll look at every play, every pitch, and as you're watching along, you'll see it. We'll comment as things progress. Wiz, how do you like Game 3 tonight? What is your outlook on Game 3?
Game 3, it's going to be incredible. Just to start off, Lance McCullers versus Ranger Suarez. I've been looking forward to this matchup, and we weren't expecting it because the postponement with rain last night. First pitch underway, we're seeing right now. Incredible catch by Nick Castellanos in right, just like that.
Castellanos was explaining earlier on the pregame how much he really was enthused about coming to Philadelphia, being a Philly, and how this fan base, this rabid fan base at Citizen Bank Park with the Phillies has caught on so much for a team, as we know, that struggled the first half of the year, made the managerial change prior to the All-Star break. Robbie Thompson, as we discuss on our program every week, made this, said some magic. There's some with this team. Everything just clicked for this team. And we watched them against the Mets all season long here in New York and down in Philly, and they look like a dead team. The Mets handled them. Again, Phillies, as everyone knows, they got in last, sixth as a wild card team. And look, they're on the verge of maybe winning a world championship as one of those wild card teams.
No, definitely. They're right on the verge, those red-hot fighting Philadelphia Phillies. And like you said, we've covered them back in August in Philadelphia. Beautiful ballpark. I can't imagine what the atmosphere is like tonight. But back to August, you saw from there on, Robbie Thompson had these players buy into him and the regime going on compared to Joe Girardi and past regimes. And
Castellanos, as I said, he was very enthused being a Philly, and he had his doubts. In fact, he made a comment on the pregame before Game 3 tonight, and he told the MLB Network people, he said that he had people knew where he was. They were so enthused to get him as a Philly. We should have had him in New York as a Met. That didn't happen. And that fans knew his address, where he was living in the Philadelphia area. That could show you how excited they were to meet this guy. But that whole Phillies team just came together. And that lineup, and you're going to see it again tonight. I think the Phillies are going to come out, even though Lance McCullers is on the mound for Houston. A couple of left-handers in that Philly lineup that can hit the home run ball at home run friendly Citizens Bank Park. McCullers, of course, is another great story for the Astros, coming off Tommy John surgery, but does have that postseason experience with the Astros.
No, definitely. Lance McCullers is incredible in the postseason. We saw it firsthand, Game 4 at Yankee Stadium. As he was coming off that slight injury in the locker room celebration, we discussed that previously. But McCullers is incredible for that 1-2 punch with Verlander. We'll talk about Verlander here and there. He struggled in Game 1. But that pitching staff, it's so deep. You can have one guy flake off. Christian Javier will pick it up. Framber Valdez, like we saw in Game 2, what an incredible performance. I believe he had 9 strikeouts in those 7 innings pitched, and he was the storyline in Game 2. So maybe, perhaps, Game 3, we see Lance McCullers be that storyline for Houston.
I think the bullpens will have a major role now, because there was that unexpected off day yesterday. That could have an impact tonight, depending on how far the 2 starters could go. But when you look beyond, if this does reach a Game 6, Phillies might have the advantage if they go back to Houston for a Game 6. They don't want to, because these 3 games now are in Philly. But Zach Wheeler would get the ball in Game 6 as a result of that rainout yesterday, which means Noah Syndergaard, who I had a lot of skepticism about the Phillies throwing Syndergaard in as a Game 4 starter, or even the Game 3 tonight, because he doesn't have that length. And yeah, he's a postseason pitcher. He did that with the Mets. But again, he's still very skeptical for a good Philly starting rotation. Again, they came into their own. They came together in the month of September.
Definitely, they got hot at the right time, and that's what it comes down to, the momentum push. And as we've seen throughout this postseason, it's a team that gets hot at the right time. And Philly, they came in mid-September looking in. Milwaukee was leading for that final spot through and through, and then you have Philly come out of nowhere. And as we see, it just takes that one momentum boost. But we were talking about it off the air, and we'll bring it up now. There's been 2 definite big shifts in this series. It was a 4-day layoff going into the series because Philly and Houston took care of business early in the championship series. And now you have a 4-day layoff before the series, and then 2 days off because travel and the travel day and the rain. So I'm curious to see how it's going to go in Game 3 tonight.
Well, we're going to the bottom of the first. Ranger Suarez was able to get the Astros 1-2-3, and Yordan Alvarez ended that inning striking out swinging. And interesting that he threw an 80-mile curveball swinging strike, which is his out pitch, by the way. He is one of the better curveball pitchers in baseball. Very unknown about that. And so the Phillies are now coming up at bat, and we're going to see the home run power leading off. Kyle Schwarber, and then it's Hoskins and Realmuto. They've been doing it in the postseason, Wiz, and we'll see if the Phillies can get the early advantage now as we move to the bottom of the first.
Yeah, that's a dangerous lineup through and through. Ranger Suarez, Robbie Thompson was talking about it pregame. He doesn't feel the pressure or the adversity under the bright lights. He's the same guy in the regular season compared to the postseason. He has that heart of a bulldog, and as we saw throughout the DS and the CS, that's the guy you want on the mound for Game 3. Behind Nola and Wheeler, there's no better left-hander in the game right now than Ranger Suarez.
Nothing taken away from McCullers, though. There's a good matchup in Game 3. We saw McCullers end the Yankee season last Sunday in New York at Yankee Stadium in that rain-delayed final game of the ALCS. Again, a good strikeout pitcher, and he could give the Astros at least 6 innings. That's all they would need. They can go into that great bullpen. They're in great shape.
No, definitely. They have one of the hottest bullpens in the league because through and through, it's one of the deepest, and they have one of the best secondary pitches across the league. Sliders, curveballs, sinkers, you name it, they're chucking it in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. We saw it. Rafael Montero, Ryan Presley. I feel like we've seen Ryan Presley year on year in the
all the
postseason,
time,
dominating.
Yeah, that bullpen is outstanding. I mean, you can't – if they have an off day, you'll be surprised. That's how good they are. And Dusty Baker's got them lined up perfectly. He knows what he's doing. Dusty Baker. Let's talk about the 2 managers as we look now in the bottom of the first and wait for others to join in on our our watch along here with Sports with Rich tonight. We're connecting with two other networks, Avery. Is that what it is? We have two other shows, and I see Alex Gutierrez. Thank you, Alex. So, yeah, we're going to try and do some more of these. And so far, so good. I'm enjoying what we're doing the first few minutes. Alex Gutierrez, thanks for tuning in. And tune in Sports with Rich every Tuesday night live here on the network, on the SLG network. Like, comment, and subscribe at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm talking about the two managers, too. But let's talk about Dusty Baker. You know, he's going for his first World Series title. Came up short against the Braves last year. And Dusty Baker's lined up his rotation perfectly. And also, I like the way he's keeping his lineup consistent against the Phillies rotation.
Yeah, that's one thing we've seen in this postseason. Houston's one of those teams that they keep their lineup, especially the 1 through 6 guys, the same every game. And as we've been talking about throughout the season, analytics have made a major shift throughout baseball, but Houston doesn't rely on it. And that's because of Dusty Baker. He goes with his mental instinct all the time. And other than that, he has the buy-in from the players like we saw with Phillies. But the buy-in is the longevity year on year. And all these players trust Dusty Baker at the end of the day. Decade by decade, we see it with different franchises. And the last thing he needs is a World Series championship to complete his resume.
Now, most baseball people I talked to last week and even as of today are still sticking with a general consensus that the Astros will win this in 6 games. That's what I've gone to. Now, Schwarber just drew a walk. So the first base runner of the game, and Kyle Schwarber leads it off with a walk. And, McCullers drew a couple of sliders back-to-back to him. But Schwarber is a fastball hitter. We all know that. If you look at how he was pitched to right now, you generally know how McCullers is going to do against the first half of that top of that lineup of the Phillies tonight, Wiz.
Yeah, that's a scary lineup, as I was saying. But the lefty hitters specifically, you got Schwarber and Harper at the top of the lineup. You expect to see a lot of curveballs, a lot of sliders on the inside half of the plate because that's their one struggling zone right now. And if you lack in that zone, they're going to hit it a ton.
And Hoskins is up at bat now. 30 home runs during the season, and he's had, of course, 6 this postseason. So McCullers is going to be extra careful about him. Hoskins can hit the fastball, and he can hit a breaking ball just as good. And we have seen this. We saw it in the Phillies NLCS win over the Padres, and we seen it in September. Hoskins was one of the hottest hitters in baseball. One of the reasons the Phillies are here.
Yeah, he can hit the fastball, the curveball, the slider, you name it, he could slam it. And as we saw in the division series and the CS, when he gets a hold of one, he's slamming that bat when he rounds first base. And the Phillies fans love it. The Phillies players love it. And honestly, I love it too. That emotion out of the players, you feel it in the stadium. And that's one thing about the postseason. You can't get enough of it.
So let's see what Hoskins does at the bat. He just drew a walk to count as 1-2. McCullers now with the 85 slider. I don't want to sound like one of the analysts. You're watching the game. Everyone is. But we're going to try and analyze this little by little as we wait for others to join in on the program tonight here with Sports with Rich. Hey, Avery, you're sitting back there with the controls. Does a great job for us every week now with Sports with Rich as our producer, along with Calvin when he's available back there in Milwaukee. And, Avery, your take on Game 3 tonight.
So far, it seems to be like it's a pitcher's duel. We watched Suarez go 3 up, 3 down with a K. Altuve went down to 1 pitch. So that's going to help his pitch count keep down, and that's what the Phillies are. I feel like that's the key to the Phillies win tonight is if Suarez can keep that pitch count down.
Well, Hoskins also just swung for a strike in the first out on another slider. So you're looking here at Hoskins at bat and how McCullers approached him. Will he do it the second time around when he gets back in the lineup? It was sinker, slider, strike 3. goes to show you low ball pitching, and that's the type of pitcher that McCullers is. And those Phillies can hit a nice high fastball inside. They're good at it. Hoskins, one of those. And now we deal with Realmuto. This is why the Phillies are dangerous right now, because they've got this potent lineup that came together. Robbie Thompson could do it, but Joe Girardi couldn't. Go figure that out.
Definitely, like as you were saying, it goes for the potent lineup, and for these two teams specifically, the Phillies and Astros, we've seen in the postseason, they have a blend of everything on offense. They put the ball in play, they force walks, they don't have many strikeouts, and with a little bit of the long ball, I believe they have 12 home runs in the postseason for Philadelphia, and Houston's right there with 9 or 10. So they're leading the way with that. But other than that, the batting averages, the on-base percentage for both teams, they're at a league high right now.
Yeah, so this could turn out to be a pitcher's duel in the beginning. But with the offense that the Phillies have right now and the way the Astros pitch, it could be, it could not be. McCullers, like I said, I watched him more than once this season when the Astros were in New York, and I was impressed by his sinker and that slider, which we're seeing in the first inning. But this Phillies team right now doesn't miss a pitch. They're reminding me a lot like the Astros at bats and their approaches at the plate. So that's why they're in the World Series. I mean, that's why they did it as a wild card team, steaming right through. And very reminiscent to me also, and maybe people will disagree with me on this, but very much like those 2019 Houston Astros as we bring in, there he is.
What up, guys?
That's all he's got to say, but he's a Houston Astros
I'm
fan.
I'm nervous, man.
That's Mr. Astro. And he's on now as we're doing this watch along with everyone else. What do we got? 2 programs at once watching the World Series right now? Or what? Introduce yourself.
So I'm Nick. I'm one of the 3 on Bayou City Boys. We talk Houston sports, Houston culture.
So they're rooting. Nick has been with us before.
I made it.
He's an Astro. He's an Astro guy. So he's watching along right now, and so far so good. Nick, we've been talking about looking at this game 3. We've been talking about both teams and how good the Astros are. We would just let off before you came in about how the Astros, how the Phillies have become like the Astros in their approaches at the plate, but how the Astros are so potent and in that lineup, and they've got it all. That's why most people have picked them to win this thing in 6, including myself.
Yeah, I mean, I give Philly props. It reminds me of whenever we played the Mariners the first game. They did what we did, and a lot of us were saying that the reason why they almost won that game is they had plate discipline. And I'm seeing that with Philadelphia, like y'all were saying. I mean, we love Lance in Houston. He's always saying, bury me in the H. It's like everything all over the place. But if their plate discipline on Philadelphia is there, it worries us a bit because I don't know what he's going to give me after that because I'm used to him getting out.
You don't know, but I'll tell you, here's the thing that you look out for. And I got to mention this. As we came on earlier, I failed to mention a guy in the lineup, of course, for the Astros, Jose Altuve. He got those 3 hits in game 2. Finally warmed up in the postseason. And if that bat continues to warm up as we go along here, think about it. That's it. This guy, what is he, 2nd all-time post hitter in postseason baseball and postseason games with hits? Am I right, Wiz? Is he 2nd all-time?
I believe home runs.
Yeah,
he has 23 home runs, and he has to get
he's up
5
there in
more
hits. I know he's in the top 3. He's one of the top 3 all-time hitters in the postseason. Jose Altuve. I know he's So now he gets hot. Nick, he gets hot. The top of the lineup again. The table setter. He hadn't been able to do anything, but he made adjustments. Yeah. He said the adjustments he's made. I watched numerous interviews with him, read him and watched how he adjusted his swing. He knew he was doing wrong. He's stepping in more at the plate. He's got a better grip at the bat. Getting
Oh,
more
Harper just
barrel
hit a
with it.
nuke.
Well,
That
there
was a
you
bomber.
go. All right.
Exactly what
Talking
I
so
said
much.
about Lance.
There
Bryce
it is.
Harper.
Right. Yeah. That's his 7th home run of the postseason and the knuckle curve. So that place is going wild. Citizens Bank is loud.
And we were just
We've
mentioning
been
it
there when
before. We were just
Yeah.
mentioning it before. If you miss on that inside zone on Harper, especially on a secondary pitch like a knuckle curve or a slider, he's going to take advantage of it. And like we saw, what was it, a 1-1 count at most? We have it
Yeah,
right
he
here.
just got
Yeah.
he's
Oh, one.
see the thing. Harper got hold of a ball at on the first pitch.
Yeah, first pitch
And
knuckle curve.
First pitch knuckle
Yeah,
curve,
first pitch.
and drove it into the friendly part of right center field of Citizens Bank Park. So 1-0 Phillies, game 3 at Citizens Bank, and that fan base is expected going wild. Nick, don't get down. Don't get down.
It's funny
early.
because a lot of Astro fans here, as much as we love Lance, a lot of us were looking forward to Christian Javier starting today.
The rain out spoiled that, but I was talking before you came on about how Dusty Baker set up his rotation that works well. I mean, the Phillies did it as well, but I have faith in McCullers. He'll come back. He doesn't give up that many home runs.
No,
Am I right?
But
All right.
I need the offense
He's a
to show
low
up.
ball pitcher. It just Harper is hot. Harper got a
Harper,
hold of
Harper's a legend.
How
He's
hard?
showing you exactly
That's
what.
not easy. That is not easy to do, to hit a knuckle curve, let alone do it in the World Series. But the knuckle curve first pitch, how many can say they've done that in a World Series game?
I mean, he's showing you why he's one of the greatest to play the game still. And I mean, it's fun. I'm already to that point where I've gotten a heartbreaking in a few World Series already, especially against these NL East teams. To where this third one, I'm like, well, I hope we win, but
Cal, I've been there as a Met fan. So is the Wiz. We'd like to be there again. But again, you call the Astros your team. I respect them, and I do. To me, they have everything. And we're all over that. We're past all of that scandal crap. That shouldn't even be brought up again. I don't even know why I did it. But, Cal, remember what I said when we first met? This isn't your team. It's not my team. It's a team that you root for.
Oh, yeah.
And I know you. I know how excited you are. And I love it. I love it. I wish them. God, I wonder when the Mets are ever going to get there again.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. It's kind of fun being an Astros fan.
Nick, tell me how excited the Houston Astros fan base is about this year.
We have nothing else. The Texans are terrible. The Rockets are rebuilding.
I'm glad you. So Sunday night, if there's a game 7, should I ask what game they're going to be watching, the Texans or the Astros in game 7?
It's funny because the Texans play the Philadelphia Eagles on Thursday, and the Astros play Philly on Thursday now.
Oh, right, so Thursday.
Majority of Houston, I'm sure, is going to be watching the baseball game.
Well, also you'd have to have Prime Video too. That other fiasco.
Yeah, a lot of us were saying,
that,
we'll sacrifice the Texans for the Astros to win this year.
I think
that's a good sacrifice. It's only one game out of 17.
Yeah. I'm good.
All right, so now who are we waiting for, Nick? We're waiting for Cal yet? He's still not here, is he?
I believe Calvin's at work. Caleb, it's his birthday, so he has some family over. He'll be here in a little bit.
Okay.
Zach's stuck in traffic or something. We had
we'll make sure to wish him. We'll make sure we wish him a happy birthday. Yeah, this is Sports with Rich, along with the others here on Watch Along Game 3 of the World Series live on the SLG Network. Like, comment, and subscribe to the network, SLG, and my channel, YouTube as well, Rich Mancuso. That's the Wiz, Robert Rizzo. This is me, and that's Nick. And there's our great producer, Avery, up on right there at above the top of the screen, handling the controls, contributing. And this is the Watch Along Game 3 of the World Series, Phillies, Astros. Let's get back to it. One thing though, guys, this isn't a regular show of mine tonight. No, watch along means no fact of the week. Watch along means no, nobody beats the Riz and all that other stuff we do. We go back to that format. We'll go to our regular show again next week live, 8 p.m. here on the network. I'm glad we did this. Thanks for having us and making us be a part of this venture. And we hope you continue to tune into all the great programs here on the SLG network. Just subscribe to the network, folks, and you'll see the content that you'll get each and every week. All right, so top of the second, the Phillies are up 2-0. So there was a 2-run homer by a guy. I didn't realize Schwarber. That's right. Schwarber was on base. So it's 2-0, not 1-0. It wasn't a solo job. So now your Astros, as you say, Nick, are up at bat. And here's another guy I love, Alex Bregman. Knows postseason baseball, knows how to hit. And we take a look at in the postseason already with a 316 average, 3 home runs, 9 RBI. And let's just watch his at a bat a little bit. I'll shut up for a moment.
It's not very long. You just grounded out the third.
Yeah, that 1, 2, 3.
It's funny. Every year with Bregman, I believe he started in 2015. He's made an appearance in the postseason, and that just goes to show you the Astros' success. But Alex Bregman, the player, he's aware and known to that now. Every season, it starts in February with spring training, late February, and it ends in October. Not many guys could say that with, 8 years in their career already?
You know, Bregman, Suarez threw a nice changeup at him. I just saw the pitch. I'm on a little delay here. But that was a nice changeup that Bregman could not handle. And Suarez worked on that pitch. One of the scouts told me today he had an outstanding changeup. We just saw it.
Yeah, Suarez gives me a lot of similarities and comparisons with Nestor Cortez, but not with the delivery, with just the type of stuff he has out of his hand. You see a lot of movement with the slider, the changeup, like you said. All these secondary pitches so far, they have the Astros hitters confused, and I know it's just 5 batters, but let's see if he can get into that groove.
Nick, what is Kyle Tucker? What is he bringing to the table so far in this postseason for the Astros?
Oh man, 1 Golden Glove today. We love him. He's a spark that a lot of us knew if he was like our X factor. If he can start going, it gives us a great chance. As we saw in game 1 that we lost, gave us pretty much a 5-0 run. But he's one of those guys that for sure, I think, solidifies that middle area for us. I mean, nobody really expected Pena to do what he's doing right now either, if we were being honest in the beginning. But
well, did you see it that at bat? Did you see what Suarez threw at him? 4 straight sinkers.
Yeah.
And Tucker could hit that pitch. Yeah. Not the way Suarez is throwing it tonight.
Yeah, this was a game where a lot of us Astro fans were like, all right, it's going to be a tough one. First time in their rain delay. Nobody in Philly wants to serve us food. Got it. But it's like all over today. I just kept seeing restaurants denying the Astros. I'm like, that's cool, man.
I thought that was hilarious when I saw those headlines. You can't even get pizza.
I saw that.
It's tough because
go ahead.
But no, it's tough because like a lot of us in Houston, we're either Cowboy fans or Texans fans. So Texans fans get along with Eagles fans because we don't like the Cowboys. But as of right now, I don't think there's any Astros fans that really like Philadelphia fans, because the ones they sent down to game 1 and 2 here were very not brotherly love, I guess. They were doing some stuff, and I mean, I've seen videos of them. I've seen people spitting on Astro fans as they're driving by and stuff. I'm just like, guys, it's a game. Like we get. It's fun. It's the World Series. I get it. Especially, I mean, I guess for us, we've been a little spoiled. We've been there a few times already in the past years, but it's one of those things like, let's chill. Because at the end of it all, I mean, This is all we got in Houston right now. I mean, as we know, our Texans are 1 and whatever. So
And since you bring that up, we saw it with Verlander, I believe this afternoon. He flipped it, or yesterday he flipped off the Philly fans, and they flipped him right back.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where Verlander's the type of competitor where he's in it, like he likes
Yeah.
that type of stuff. But there's some players where they're like, "Yo, back off! I don't like this." But that's Philly for you. We see it in New York, we see it in Boston here and there, but especially with a Phillies team like this that hasn't been there since I believe 2009, just like that. They're hungry, and just as the city, they haven't won anything since the Eagles championship. So they're hungry for that chip.
Yeah, and speak about Verlander, he can't get that postseason win. It's unbelievable. It's one of the
World
best pitchers
Series
in
win.
baseball over the last decade or more, and he can't get that postseason win. And you got to explain that. That's hard to explain. But something tells me Verlander is going to step up in his next start here in the Sports Series. Is he going to pitch game? I think he's slated for Game 5, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe he's slated for Game 5. That was a tough decision by Baker, but honestly, that's your ace. You got to go down with your ace. And Game 5, majority of the time, if it's 2-2, you have to pitch him. And I was going to ask Nick on this. 24 hours ago, how confident were you going up against Noah Syndergaard compared to Ranger Suarez in Game 3?
Oh, I was excited. When I saw Noah Syndergaard, everybody was like, "All right, let's go." And then they switched it. And I'm like, all right. I mean, last time we played Suarez was sadly second to last game of the season. I mean, we rocked him, but that's nowhere near World Series. Like, he's going to bring his A game, and his A game is pretty good. I mean, not discrediting Noah, but if I had to pick out of the two, I'm definitely picking Noah Syndergaard. Like,
yeah, and I definitely agree with you. We've seen Syndergaard struggle in the postseason here and there. He hasn't been there many times. We saw him with the Mets in 2015, 2016 in the wild card. But other than that, he doesn't have the experience compared to, I'd say, you got to go with the hot hand in Ranger Suarez.
Well, Syndergaard doesn't throw as hard as he used to since the Tommy John surgery. So he's not that dominating fastball. He's not that dominating pitcher he once was. But Suarez has become that dominating pitcher for the Phillies rotation. But still, Nick and guys, I'll say it again as I've been saying all along. This Houston Astros rotation and bullpen's the best in baseball. They can't be topped. I mean, you could get a debate about others, maybe about comparable, but nothing like this. This is setting up to be, as long as they stay together, a dominant rotation and bullpen for a couple of more years at least. You know how baseball economics works. Anybody could leave once free agency and opt out and all that. But this is a key. This World Series, to me, is a key for the Astros. Everyone's got them in 6, and just like I said, 6 games. And they have to win it to show it that they are the best team. I mean, you can win all the games they won during the season, have that great postseason record, but after last year's loss to the Braves, they've got to win this one now.
Yeah, and that a lot of on Bayou City Boys, we talked about it where last year felt like the Astros thought it was going to be handed to them. And whereas this year, you kind of feel the difference of the team is more of like, we have to go out there and get this win now. And I mean, I like it. I mean, I'm speaking of people I like, McCormick out there, Philly native, getting booed by his home crowd. It's fun, eh?
That's another interesting story developing tonight right now. He is a Philly native getting booed. He's not wearing the right uniform. So, that's what makes this even more. I'm looking at Suarez right now. As I like watching pitches and their pitch counts to a certain point, he's pretty economical right now. I mean, man, with 2 in the second inning, right? 31 pitches, 20 for strikes to show how effective he is right now. So, and he's got very good command on the fastball as well as his cutter. That's another one of his pitches that he perfected, the cutter.
Yeah, that's a great ratio to begin with. It seems like he has solid command, and he has a lot of Astros batters fooled, second guessing. But the first time through, we might see that. I'm interested to see how he goes through the second time. He just struck out McCormick, and now
Yeah.
we're going to the bottom of the second.
The game is moving along, and McCormick there out on the sinker. So everything working right for Suarez and the Phillies right now as we go to the bottom of the second now. We're going to move to the top of the third. Top of the third in Philadelphia. Watching sports with Rich. Bottom of the second, right. Sports with Rich live on the SLG Network. The watch along World Series game number 3 with me, the Wiz, Robert Rizzo. That's Avery now. He's at the bottom of the screen. He's our producer. Great one every week for us. And right there is Nick, who also has a show with the Bayou Boys here on the network. SLG Network, that's where to go. That's where to watch. Like, comment, and subscribe, folks. The watch along is something we never did before, me and the Wiz. We're glad to be here. Hope you're enjoying it so far. And I'll hang in there for my regular time till 10 o'clock. Almost sound like I'm doing a telethon asking for money.
Hey, we'll take it. There's a donate button at the bottom.
We gotta get the bottom line going.
Yes, we got a few others that'll be joining in soon, and your comments in the cube. If we already had a few, so feel free to comment and watch along with us as we analyze Game 3 at Citizens Bank Park, Phillies Astros. So Boehm, Scott, and Segura due up. Here's another guy for the Phillies you got to watch, Segura. He's been waiting for this moment, the World Series. He got it. And I got to talk about this Phillies team again, guys. As much as, Nick, you don't want to hear this. What they've done, it's one of those baseball stories. You got to like it. What they've done. I mean, this was a team that could do nothing. And Wiz and I saw that at Citi Field and even in Philly a few times. This team could do nothing, especially the bullpen. Let's focus on that Philly bullpen right now and how much of an impact they've become, how they turned it around with Sir Anthony as their main guy. And, you need a good bullpen if you want to win the World Series. And the Phillies are just about as comparable with the Astros with that right now.
The Phillies bullpen kind of was their wild card going into it. No one knew what was going to happen because none of them were there before other than Noah Syndergaard. And at the time, he was starting for them. And speaking of the bullpen, it reminds me of that first year of the Kansas City Royals run where no one knew about them going into the season and throughout the season. And then out of nowhere, when October came around, they became that October threat, and they made it all the way to Game 7 and lost to Bumgarner and the Giants, and were able to redeem themselves the following year against the Mets.
So here goes another. Was another home run just hit?
Yeah, by Alec Boehm, solo homer.
All right, I think I could see it in Nick's face. He's etched in pain right now.
Most of us knew it.
Pitch again.
We love Lance McCullers, but when I saw him out there, I was like, this is gonna be the game. Like it's gonna.
This guy doesn't give up many home runs, and he's given up 2 of them.
It's something about
2 innings.
It's something about Lance. There's a thing like with a lot of us that we want Dusty Baker to win, but there's a lot of decisions that he makes that the fans don't agree with. We support Lance.
Like what?
So like for instance, a lot of fans.
What are the decisions? Bring that up, Nick. What?
So like for instance, today a lot of us wanted Christian Javier coming in instead of Lance. You can kind of, I guess, watching them all season, you could see how when Javier, especially when he had that no-hitter in New York, he kind of took over like, okay, this is mine. He doesn't really worry about fan bases. With Lance, when he gets behind, he starts to kind of go faster and make these mistakes. And we've seen it before, especially, and after I believe it was the Yankees game, he didn't have a bad game. But it was one of those games where it's like, okay, we've seen this land.
Well, he lost 6 innings in New York against the Yankees. We were there, Wiz and I. He lost it, and that's when they had to go to their pen. But not these first two games, the 2 innings, the 2 home runs were off the first pitch and off the sinker too, which shows that he doesn't have it tonight. The Phillies are, look, attributed to the Phillies lineup right now. They're just hitting everything that's coming by them. And look, those were 2 mammoth home runs right now, the first 2 innings off McCullers. So he may not have it tonight. The sinker doesn't seem to be sinking.
No.
Because when you have an effective sinker, you're not going to hit a home run, not going to hit 2 home runs like that.
Yeah.
So
there was I want to say it was the first game where he put in Luis Garcia in, I believe, in the 10th inning or the 9th inning. And he put him in, and everybody was wondering because he only had 2 batters to warm up, and everybody was saying they wanted Stanek. But then Garcia gives up the home run. I think it was probably the 7th or 8th. He gives up the home run, and then he ends up putting Stanek in afterwards. But it's like we've known Garcia. Every time he's brought Garcia in with short warm up, he's given up a home run. It's happened countless times. And so it's just one of those things where the fan base of Houston, I think, win or lose, wants something different than Dusty at this point. Whereas we have Joe Espada sitting there, we have other things that we feel is that way, and it's not fair to Dusty completely because we went from a coach and a GM to just straight getting a brand new one. And, Dusty did a great job at, rallying everybody and taking us back to World Series. I mean, he's done a phenomenal job of it. But there are a lot of fans, though, in Houston that are like, win or lose, I want Espada to take over after him. Right off in the sunset, Dusty. But let's move on to the next step of this franchise to lead up.
Well, all right. That's always a concern with managers and when they get to the World Series and they don't win it, or they get the postseason, they don't go far. Dusty is the oldest manager in the game right now, managing the team.
I believe him like Bochy.
And Bochy, right? Well, Bochy now, just with the Rangers last week. But you see now that teams are trending to the older manager. They're not going to the younger guys. And that might be because analytics is playing too much of a factor into the game. Now, I know the Astros use analytics, and I know Dusty incorporates it. To what extent, I'm not sure, because all teams are. But I can't put this on the manager. I think what he's being told to do and consulting to put that lineup together, where to put guys in certain spots and when. And I can't fault him because I think overall the lineup of the Astros has been consistent, especially during the postseason. He's tweaked it a little bit with the DH role and all that stuff, but you can go as far as you go, as I always say, and the Wiz knows that I say this all the time. You're as good as your players are. I mean, and if your pitching is not doing it, you're not going to win. And if your lineup is not going to hit, you're not going to win. And we know that in New York with the Yankees, but they did because none of it worked.
Yeah, the DH spot was the other spot that everybody was bringing up because I get you want to be loyal to Trey Mancini for bringing him in. Aletmus Diaz is there, but I believe they went 1 for like 20-something in the playoffs, and the media here was asking him like, when are you going to take him out? And he kept saying,
there's a slider and there's another home run.
2-0 count.
That's 3. All right, now I think you got to get McCullers has to go. He doesn't have it. Another slider on the 3rd pitch. Brandon Marsh to right center. They're hitting him to right center and hitting a McCullers slider. So he doesn't have it. I don't remember him having a game like this in a long time. And now it's time for him. He's got to go. It's time to go to the bullpen now before this gets out of hand. 4-0.
I honestly think he's going to bring in maybe Urquidy in this game. And
he doesn't have it.
That could be a
Yeah,
good
Lance-
There is
option.
no
with Urquidy.
command. Throwing the slider for 3 home runs, and when you look at it, those home runs have been far, and
Mhm.
they've been off sliders. And if your best pitch is not working in a World Series like this, Game 3, which to me is an important game for the Astros, really is. It's time to go. He's got to go. There's 2 outs. He's got to come out of the game. If he gets by this last hitter, if he gets by Schwarber, looks like he's going to, he doesn't come out the next inning because he's giving up the home run ball off sliders. He's got to go. So now
Yeah,
Baker's got to get him out of there.
It seems like the pressure got to him, definitely. And one thing I noticed that Yankees
I don't
stadium-
know if it has anything. I don't buy that. And pressure. This is the World Series. You know you're gonna have pressure.
They're currently reviewing the home run. It looks like it hit the railing and comes back.
Yeah,
I don't know if it touches anybody.
I don't have the feed in front of me. I'm going to turn away a second because I'm just watching the pitch by pitch count. So I'm going to go dark for a moment. But
I've got it running on the TV here, and it looks like it hits the railing and bounces back. It doesn't get touched by a fan.
They ruled it a home run. They ruled it a home run.
They did rule it a home run, but they're looking at it right now.
They ruled it a home run, but I'm not even going to look at that. I'm looking at what I've been saying. A slider, first pitch.
Well, Lance is getting eaten apart on social media by Astros fans.
No, he's got. I could see Astros fans now being livid, concerned, and telling Dusty Baker, get him out of there.
They're warming up Hunter Brown right now, so
the
youngster gets the.
It's 4-0, and we're only in the bottom of the second.
Yeah,
and
they
the
just
home run
confirmed the home run.
And this, to me, this was no command from Lance McCullers, who's very good with his command, and no command with the slider, and he's very good with that. It's time to go. You don't want this game to get out of hand.
They did polls on Houston radio today, and there was not many fans that were like, "Yay, McCullers is starting today." It was, "Oh, McCullers is starting. Okay, let's wish for the best." And it's nothing to Lance. We love him here, but we've seen you do this before. We've seen this happen to you, and it for some reason the delays and all that. I guess after that after that one delay, something happens, and I guess he's just doesn't have it after that. And I get it; they have routines as starters.
Could be. Pitchers like ball players, they're creatures of habit.
Yeah,
and that could be. That could very well be, because this does not look like the Lance McCullers that I've seen and I saw in New York this season, and even as the last Sunday against the Yankees. I mean, Alex is disagreeing with you. He's saying, "Come on,
And Nick, you mentioned
not really.
Nick, you mentioned it before. Sometimes McCullers tends to speed up his process to a plate. And at Yankee, he was having that trouble in the first inning. He gave up 3 earned runs, and then just like that, he fell into a groove. And right now, you see it. He gave up 4 earned runs, and he's trying to battle out of that groove. But at the same time, you saw him try to slow down his process throughout it all. And just like that, pitchers are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
Anything could get to them, and that pressure, I'm not saying that's because of it, but that could be a factor with everything going on.
Well, Wiz, one of our baseball people we deal with that I just text, Tom Gamboa, he agreed. He said, got to take McCullough out before this gets out of hand.
Yeah, they're saying on Bleacher Report if they think McCullers is tipping his pitches.
Could be. I feel like we tend to see that once in a while in the postseason. I believe it was Glasnow last year. He got caught with it, the tipping his pitches.
Well, I think a lot of times is what happens is when pitchers, when they get rattled like this mentally, they start changing their arm angles on their deliveries. So you can see more of an over-the-top action when you know it's going to be a fastball, but then you kind of see that elbow start to dip if it's going to be a breaking pitch.
Good point. Avery, you should be a scout.
I
can scout Lance McCullers for you. I know this fool better than anybody.
Who's that? Who just
That's,
joined us on the
Zach.
watch?
This is Zach. He's one of the Bayou City Boys.
All right, Zach. Good to see you and welcome. And
Appreciate it.
thanks
I,
for this watch
I'm
along.
freaking sick, so I'm not going to be here long. The more frequent Lance's pitches are, the more likely it's a breaking ball. That's what they're doing. If he's sitting there thinking about it, he's going to throw a fastball. If he just throws, it's a breaking ball.
Well, he's throwing the slider tonight, which he's been effective with, and it hasn't worked. I've never seen his slider so bad. There's no command on it at all. So, and then that's got to be troubling. 'Cause he's in your rotation. I mean, if he, I would
That's the
think
thing
after
Nick
this,
told you
that,
earlier.
you know,
She had no business pitching today. None.
Yeah.
no, he
trash.
shouldn't be.
We were nervous.
I feel
So
he
you don't
should have
like the
gone.
move that Dusty make. You don't like this Dusty Baker move tonight, and it's backfiring.
Big time.
I think you did last one you did. I get it. Lance McCullers went fourth because of a champagne cork hit him in the arm. Cool. But Christian Javier changed that tempo up for you and started it so then Lance could come in after that. I feel you should have stuck with that. For Christian Javier to go into New York not once but twice in hostile environment and show you I can do it, I get it. You want to show respect to Lance. He wasn't there last year either. But at some point...
Okay, so then explain McCullers coming into the hostile environment last Sunday night at Yankee Stadium and pitching the way he did to clinch.
No, I give him that, but I've seen it more from Christian Javier all season than I have from Lance all season. I've
But
seen
he
this.
didn't
Lance.
pitch good in Yankee Stadium.
Agree
I've
about
seen
that.
this
Pitch
Lance.
good.
This Lance is not a new Lance to me. I've seen this Lance before where he'll come in and give up 5 runs and then the next 5 games he's lights out and then another 5 more runs on another game. I've seen this Lance and we love him.
Guys,
we want him to be good.
What are the Astros fans saying on social media out there? I don't have it over here right now. What are they saying? Are you monitoring that?
I can tell you what I'm saying. If you think, if you
I know
think
what you're saying.
if you think Lance being in there is pissing you off, wait till they bring Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown has no business coming in this game. Jose Urquidy should be in this game. He's the only pitcher besides Framber with a World Series win. Why is he not in this game?
I know the
Yeah,
Brown comes in. I think this game's going to get it. I believe it'll go out of hand. To get out of hand. Good point. Good point.
They're warming Hunter Brown up. It needs to be Urquidy. He's a calming presence. He's going to throw fastballs. He's going to find the strike zone. He's going to pitch to contact, but you're not going to rock him.
So just a few fans that I have in these Astro groups. Somebody says, thank you, Lance, for batting practice for Phillies. You got a few people saying, why is he still out there? Get him the hell out of here. Somebody's
because
like,
those last 2 were solo shots.
Somebody goes, Poulin, this is the Lance that we saw against New York. I didn't want to see this. There's just different ones. A lot of people are like, why did Lance start anyway? And it just goes on. I mean,
we've got somebody in the chat saying if Philly scores again, he's going to shove their TV remote up where the sun doesn't shine.
That's his business.
It's got to be an Astros fan out there.
Please don't tell me that.
All right, here's a guy in your lineup that I always liked and I continue to like. Maldonado.
You know what's really funny? I'll give the Midwest perspective on this. There are 2 ex-Brewers playing in the World Series right now in Gene Segura and Maltine Maldonado.
Mm-hmm.
They were both on the Brewers at the same point at one time.
The Brewers representing in the World Series.
Yep. I think the NBA did something similar. It was like somebody from like the Cleveland Cavaliers was in the finals. Or no, somebody from the New York Knicks had made the finals like the last 15 years or something like that.
Yeah,
well,
there's
a bunch of Mets representing the Phillies and Astros in the World Series. You got Rafael Montero, who's been great out of the Astros bullpen. And he's a great story, too. And, of course, you got Wheeler and Syndergaard they're on the Phillies in their rotation. But I trust Wheeler more than Syndergaard there. But
it's funny too.
you know, Maldonado. Here he goes. He goes down on strikes, right? Just
Yep, caught looking.
all that on strikes. Sinker. Suarez sinker. There we go again.
Maldonado goes down looking a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I like him though. I like him because he could come up with a big hit. He comes up with the big hit when he has to. You know.
He's one of those guys in Houston that we're okay when he strikes out because we know his defense is there, his leadership's there for those pitchers. And for some reason, when we need a bat, sometimes he shows up. So,
but also, like, he went down looking on that, right? And the first thing he did was walk up to the umpire and he told him, he's like, "That's a strike on both sides. Remember that." You know what I mean? So that's that leadership.
Yeah, that's what I've been noticing already. Is that this umpire is giving that inside corner a lot. I mean,
yeah, let me see who he is because I know a lot of these guys. Oh well, yeah, it's Dan. I call him Dan Lasagna. Because I can never pronounce his name right either. He's got a crazy strikes. He has a crazy strike zone.
I believe, Rich, you mentioned this. You mentioned this back in June when Houston was in New York against the Yankees. Maldonado isn't that really effective on offense, but they have to have him in that lineup because he's so effective on defense. He could catch a game for anyone out of that rotation, and like we saw, that was a major comebacker by Altuve.
Arguably, he's a top 8 catcher defensively.
Yep.
Well, he's one. He is someone that I wanted the Mets to grab. I wanted the Mets to get him because of his defensive ability more so than his bat. But I've seen him come up with big hits. I've seen it in his career. So I've always been a fan of Maldonado.
And he's been doing that for a long time.
Yeah. People don't realize that he's 38. Everyone figured it out after the controversy with the bat situation and MLB's ruling. But 38 years old, if you gave me 3 guesses, I would have never said that.
Now let's look at Jeremy Pena with 2 outs here. We love watching Jeremy Pena here in New York. The Wizards written a couple of pieces about him on latinosports.com. I just love watching this kid. And he was in that post, the celebrants in that clubhouse when they clinched the ALCS against the Yankees, and he was a leader of the pack, having a great time. He deserved it, but then we just grounded out. I'm telling you right now, Suarez has got everything going right now.
Oh,
tonight.
that was close. That was close.
Change up.
Today.
3 change-ups at Pena. 3 straight change-ups. You're not seeing the fastball. You're seeing the slider, and you're seeing change-ups, too.
Well, I think
and a cutter.
I mean, they know he's a fastball hitter. I mean, especially a young guy like this, he can block the fastball.
And that's good scout. That's where scouting comes in. See, scouts have been diminished a lot by MLB, but these advanced scouts play a major role more than analytics in the postseason. And they've read this one right.
There's a Houston group right now that I'm in that says Jose Urquidy time, Dusty, wake up. And 2 minutes ago, it already has 100 reactions on it.
Sheesh.
No, I would not keep McCullers in this game. 43 pitches, 25 for strikes.
I guarantee you they bring in Hunter Brown for 2 innings.
Yeah, that's what he already warmed him up.
If he gets out clean in the first inning, he comes back for a second. He's a fastball pitcher.
That could cause trouble with Harper leading off here.
You think that, but when you finna see 99 about 5 times.
This is one guy that I think a lot of Houston fans are happy to have, but he doesn't seem to get nervous. It is weird. They've thrown him in different situations.
He's too damn dumb to know he's supposed to be nervous.
He's just out there having fun, it seems, and you saw that first game he pitched. He was like, "Oh, I get to pitch in front of Verlander. Oh, that's my idol. You know, cool." And he just went out there throwing 100-mile-per-hour balls like nothing. I was like, "Where's this guy been at all?" Oh,
Yeah,
he's been
but
in
you know,
AAA.
guys, I'm going to use my boxing terminology. If this was a 12-round fight right now, through 3 rounds or whatever, it's the Phillies on points, commandingly on points right now.
Yeah,
by 4 points.
yeah. Sports with Rich continuing here live on the SLG Network with the guys on the watch along. Game 3 of the World Series, and Phillies up 1-0 with the home run ball. I'm really surprised that you guys in Houston aren't, but I am. I'm surprised that McCullers didn't have the command here tonight.
We're more disappointed because we knew that this was like a 50-50 chance of what was going to happen.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Like him pitching clean was less likely to happen than what we're seeing, and we knew that. You got to think about it. He only started 3 games in the regular season.
Right.
yeah.
But I was looking at that start in New York that clinched the ALCS for the Astros, and I looked at him, and I said, this guy, he fits in the rotation now perfectly going into the World Series. That was my thought.
I think you're thinking of the Seattle clinch.
No, and against the Yankees, and he pitched. He pitched game. Am I right? I mean, we see so much baseball.
He clinched it, but he didn't pitch good against the Yankees. He pitched good against the Mariners.
I believe he went. He went 5 innings.
Did he go 6 innings against the Yankees? Let me pull
struggled
up
in that
box
first
score.
inning. He gave up 3 runs, but other than that,
you know what?
I know what you mean. He was struggling through and through, but he got you through those innings. It didn't look like
did.
True colors.
I've got that box score in front of me because that was the last game we covered. I covered it.
And he's
Unless I was wrong.
Well, not still. He was dealing with the injury with the locker room when
his elbow.
When he was at Yankee. Yeah.
Yeah, he went 5 innings. 5 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs. So yeah, but 3 earned. But he managed to get himself out of problems where they could have been a lot more than 4 runs in that game against the Yankees. Well, look, the Yankees weren't doing anything anyway. They couldn't hit anything. I mean, I could have hit. I think a kid in a wiffle ball could do better than them the way they were.
I could say this as an Astros fan. If he wasn't paid so much money, he would not be a starter in the playoffs.
I'd be cool with that.
No, I'm not trying to hate on him, but it's just the fact that you're paid $19 million and you expect to be a starter, and they don't want to piss you off. But you know, Christian Javier obviously is a better pitcher than you. And if we're being completely unbiased, I would have ran Luis Garcia in front of you also.
Okay, so why did Dusty have so much confidence in this guy? What are they saying there in Houston? We get our end of it here in New York. What are they saying in Houston? Why did Dusty have so much confidence to get the start tonight?
The way it seems with the media with Dusty is he's loyal. Even when we made trades, he's very loyal to who's there and who he believes in. And it's very hard for him to change that mindset.
Let me run something by you, Rich. I don't think that he was confident in Lance. I think that he knew that this was the best way to protect ourselves in the event Lance did this.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because just say, for instance, Christian Javier pitched bad today, and then you're just like, man, we can't go into game 4 in Philly with Lance pitching. There's no way you can be confident in that. But if we don't come back, you can always say, well, we got Christian Javier, who's probably our 3rd best pitcher going in game 4.
Are you surprised that he's still in the game right now?
100%.
I'm surprised, but I've seen this with Dusty, so it's like it's a bittersweet thing being an Astro fan right now. Like, there's fans that are appreciative of Dusty, like I said, but there's a lot of fans that are like, it's hard for me to trust you out of what we've seen the last 2 years. Because a lot of fans, there were some decisions last year against the Braves that a lot of fans felt were boneheaded calls, and we've seen them even in the season. I mean, everybody's human. We're going to make mistakes for sure. But there's moments where a lot of fans feel like in these crucial games, he gets out-managed, out-coached at times. And that's where as fans, we kind of feel it and see it. And I get you want to be loyal to, Lance, but at this point, you're down 0-4. He's tipping pitches, and he hasn't shown you anything. There's no point to be loyal. This is a World Series. Go and put Urquidy in, who actually has a World Series win, hasn't pitched at all since I don't know when. What?
He didn't pitch in the playoffs.
Wow.
He's the only pitcher that I think has not pitched at one ball at all.
He's the only pitcher that did not pitch in an 18-inning game.
I was gonna say it was 2 games in one. You got to put him in at least once.
He's the only person who didn't pitch besides Verlander and Christian Javier.
Yeah, good. That's a good point.
Granted, Luis Garcia gave us 5 innings, but
and he dominated against Boston last year in the ALCS.
Yep. That's what I'm saying. There's a calming presence to Urquidy because you get a lot of soft contact with Urquidy because he doesn't throw very hard. And I just feel confident with him.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of the secondary stuff that get the opposing batters off.
And not only that, because if you don't put it in Dusty's ear that you need to put somebody in next that's going to give you innings, he legitimately will pitch one pitcher each inning after this. So he's going to eat up through our bullpen for no reason.
McCullers got out of the last inning without using the slider. I'm just looking at the pitches and the different combinations he used, especially with the Harper at bat. Cutter, changeup. And even Riamoto at bat, he used the slider, but it went his way this time. So maybe the second time around, he's made some adjustments, but I still don't. I still think he should have been out of this game. It doesn't make my cause for him to stay in this game. But there's probably a bullpen issue here right now that Dusty doesn't want to go into his pen that early.
No, we have a dumb coach. Like, don't cut him any slack.
We need a better explanation than that. That's coming from a fan perspective. I know. We can call
Rich,
Buck Showalter a dummy here and Aaron Boone.
Look, Rich,
come on, I need a better explanation. I'm going to tell you better I want a better explanation than calling Dusty Baker a dumb manager.
I don't know why he's dumb. I just know he is. But I can tell you this about Dusty, right? The Astros are real young. Like we're relatively youthful, correct? We have big personality players like Bregman, Fromber. These guys get to rolling, and they want to be them, and then they stop because Dusty makes them. Don't flip bats. Don't stare at the camera. So you're asking us to be who we're not.
Yeah, there was a moment where Dusty was gone for a while, and Espada took over, and Yordan Alvarez never had emotions. And he started hitting home runs, and you saw bat flips, smiling, talking to the camera, and everybody was like, "Who's this Yordan?" Like
it's like playing Pee-wee. It's like playing T-ball for your grandpa. That's what it's like. It's like if my mom just sent me to T-ball, I can say bad words when I get there because nobody's gonna know when I get home. But if my grandpa's coaching, I can't do that.
I spoke to numerous Astros in the ALCS post game, in the locker room celebration, even before during the course of the series. Players will not tell a media member their thoughts about a manager because they can't. It's obvious, but you get, can go around the horn with it, and you can see expressions and everything. And bypass the celebration. Everybody was happy that night, Yankee Stadium.
I'm not saying that he's a bad manager and a bad person.
Those players respect Dusty, I have talked to opposing players that have been under his managerial wing and no longer play for him and other teams. They love Dusty Baker. To them, every move he makes works to them. He knows the game. To them, he's a player's manager. You name it. Everything you hear. So
I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm just saying sometimes those old
no,
tricks
I'm not
get
mentioning
boring.
that he's a bad guy. I'm talking about his managerial skills because it seems
Yeah,
like you guys in Houston right now are not happy with Dusty Baker and rather see a Espada take over this team or someone else, which I can't
yes
understand
and no,
why.
because the first 2 series, Dusty did enough for me to say, Espada, I think that you should stay on the bench and let Dusty stay for a couple more years. But series like this is why you hate Dusty, because if we know what needs to happen, then how do you not know?
Yeah.
Okay, so when AJ, when all that came down, I'm not going to go into it because I don't believe they did anything wrong that no other team did. I've always been on the Astros side with this. But when AJ Hinch was dismissed and Baker was named the manager, was that your first choice?
I was 100% good with it. I liked it.
Yeah.
So what's
I
made
feel
your
like
attitude
really
shift? Why have
It's
you
not that it
shifted your
shifted.
attitude?
It's not that it shifted because it's like you served your purpose to the highest level. Is you were there to transition us from the cheater to the next phase, and you had managed to do that and get us to the World Series. But everybody who watches the Astros will tell you, you can't keep throwing Lance out there. If shit don't work, stop doing it. You know what I mean? It only took me 3 tries before I stopped sticking a fork in the outlet. So,
well, what if that decision is not take us into play? What if it's not Dusty Baker's decision that he had to put him out there today? Maybe analytics or someone else in the front office said he must start tonight because that's what's going on with these teams right now. Yeah. Managers are being dictated and told what to do.
Because that's the problem. He's not analytical.
You like analytics?
Espada is. I don't.
No. Okay, no, because I don't.
But Espada is.
Yeah. But and that's where the game is. That teams are analytical with their approach. And, I think Dusty's the old school manager. And I think I don't have any – look, I'm here in New York, so you guys see a different side of it. And I don't know him. I don't know him well enough to say, to take sides here. I'm just looking at who I talk to, scouts, people in the game, players that have played for him, and some of the things that, you might not agree with some of the decisions he makes. And this one tonight, maybe in particular with McCullers. But I don't see nothing wrong with the guy. I think he's a great manager. What that team needed. You just haven't won a World Series with him yet. That's why.
You got it.
He hasn't won a World Series either on himself, but
well, yeah, he hasn't won a World Series as manager either. But you're
panicking
right now.
I mean, not win.
Look, I still say the Astros win this series, no matter what happens tonight, and it's still early in the 4th inning. They win this in 6. They're not going to lose this at home. They won't. No.
Word.
I think if McCullers was going to start a game at all, I think it would probably be this one because, you don't really have a lot to lose in the first game in Philly. It's 1-1. If you go down 1-2 because McCullers blows it, then it is what it is. You'd rather have McCullers blow a game 3 than blow a game 5 or a game 6.
That's what I'm saying. He's protecting the team from ourselves, basically. But the point I'm trying to make is the Astros are kind of fly. Like, we like to do goofy shit. So we want to come out swinging at everything. We want to throw 100 miles an hour. We want to pick off. No, seriously. Like, we want to play shit. We like to do goofy shit, and he don't let us do that. But Espada's like, do it.
Yeah, it was a totally different team when Espada, and I think that's what it started. Was when Espada was taking over and we were still winning, but you saw the swagger and demeanor of the team, of the younger players, especially having fun, doing stuff. And then it just went right back to like black and white, like just straight.
And I'm not saying the black and white is wrong. What I'm saying is right now they're punching us. We can't punch back.
Right now they're not hitting either. I mean, if Suarez has got them under control, but fourth inning. I mean, they don't do anything against Suarez right now.
You kind of see the similarities with the managers. You guys keep mentioning Dusty and the buy-in from the players. On the other side, these Phillies young players bought into Robbie Thompson from the jump. And to add in the New York base, honestly, Buck Showalter gets bashed a lot for the bullpen decisions he does in past regimes. People still remember the Zach Britton debacle when he was with Baltimore in that wild card game. And it's similar with Dusty Baker. It's how you manage the game and those decisions late in postseason games. So for him to stay in, I don't know if he's still in now. Alec Boehm's batting second in this inning, so I'm interested to see if he stays in because that's a dangerous threat right there. He just homered in the second inning.
Well, you know what? I think he just doesn't want to go into that bullpen right now, but he might have to. I mean, what's his pitch count?
What you mean don't go in the bullpen? That's our strength.
It's 54 pitches, 34 for strikes. So maybe give him another inning. Yeah, maybe he doesn't want to go in the bullpen that early.
You're killing me, Rich. You're killing me.
I'm not killing you. I don't play. I don't play favorites, and I said the Astros in
I'm
six.
very partial towards this. I'm partial towards this. He got to come out.
You don't like Dusty Baker. That's what it is.
No, I like Dusty Baker. You
don't like Baker, and
like
you don't like Lance McCullers.
I don't like Dusty. I don't trust him, man.
My feeling is that he has the bullpen set up for this series and doesn't want to go to the pen right now. He's going to wait another inning. I would have took him out. I would have took him out the inning before if I was managing the team. But I'm not the manager.
I tell you why he's not doing it, because he's going to go to this one pitcher per inning. He always does this.
He does. Either it's Brian Abreu.
You're going to see Maris, Abreu, Montero, and maybe Presley.
We saw that at Yankee a lot. It was one inning on one inning on one inning.
You had Stanek, which had the lowest ERA, and he threw like one pitch maybe. It was like, what's going on here? Like,
well, you know what? The issue is right now you're not hitting the ball. Suarez has. You got a hit right now, but
Alvarez has been non-existent since Seattle. So
Suarez looks invincible right now for the Phillies, and that's the issue. You got to get some runs on the board too.
Preach.
And then if you lose tonight, you don't have to worry because you'll win tomorrow night.
We're gonna win tonight because we score runs fairly easy. So 4 runs.
I know, but but if you don't, you'll win tomorrow night. So.
Let me tell you what, the Astros going all the time. It's surely to work. It never fails. If you do it, I guarantee you we score 6 runs. Bunt. Somebody bunt.
No, that doesn't happen in baseball no more. Small ball doesn't exist.
Jeremy Pena bunted in a doubleheader against the Yankees, and I think we scored it felt like 100 runs.
Which was very rare. You hardly see that anymore. You really don't. I mean, how many times do you see that?
Throw them off.
Let me ask you guys in Houston this. If the Astros win this World Series, which I think they will again in 6 games, does your attitude change about Dusty Baker?
No. because we should have won last year's, right? And then
give me sports fans anytime.
Rich, let's be honest. Our team is good. It don't take a genius to coach us.
What do you mean by that?
I think there's a handful of people who could win a World Series with this team. Like Dusty's not doing.
You tell me that you could go in that dugout and manage the Houston Astros because of the talent.
I didn't say me. I said a handful of people.
Well, it sounded like you said it was you.
No, but I would like to sit there and give my 2 cents if that's okay.
Man, I don't want to be. I don't want to. I'm not being combative with you because I don't want to get.
No. I like this. This is fun.
I love your city. I love your city. I love the media in that town, and I love your city. And I happen to like the Astros. I do. I really do.
Thank you.
Except when they're playing the Mets, of course. But I don't want to create enemies in Houston because I have some good friends that live there as well. Including Pedro Borbon, who was a pitcher here in New York, who I knew as a kid. He came in and pitched for the Braves and numerous teams. And he lives in Houston, Texas. So we talk a lot about the Astros team. He was a pitcher, too. But
I'll say this. Dusty's a free agent after this. If he comes back, I'm not going to hate it. especially if he wins this
Well,
World
if he-
Series.
If he wins the World Series, he's coming back.
Yeah, but then we'll have to get a new GM because Click's probably going to leave.
I know.
Good
And then
point.
it's
And you can't blame
But
Click.
they gotta
He's like,
hit.
it's not my coach.
they're not hitting. They're not hitting right now. This is an issue tonight. 2 hits. The lineup is just not doing anything against Suarez. That's a concern. They got to pick it up. Maybe second time, third time around the lineup. I'm seeing Suarez with the way he's throwing the ball and the sinkers and
I'll say
he
this,
was
Rich.
cutter.
This reminds me of when we played Garrett Cole, because he did this to us. And then when we got to him. So wait for it.
I mean, we did the same thing with Castillo, and he was destroying us, and then we found something and got a piece of it. So, I mean, luckily it's 4-0. Lance seems to have found something at least.
Yeah, he calmed down. His command is a little better, and he's not using the sinker right now. So
I don't want him throwing that ball anymore for the rest of the year.
Change up. He's been throwing he threw the cutter well this past inning, and he threw the change up well. The Phillies can also hit a fastball well, so and he hasn't depended on that to the home runs. Guys, I'm going to step aside for a minute or two. You know me, when I do the show, I like to take a break. You guys keep talking, stay on the air. No breaks tonight. I love the sponsorship that continues to be a part of Sports with Rich and all the programs on SLG with you guys. And but I'm going to take a brief break. You could talk about it, Wiz. I got to take a brief break, and I'll be right back. But you guys can keep talking. I'm just going to step aside, and I'll be back. Oh, you'll know I'll be back. You'll hear my mouth. Be right back.
There's a lot of common ground with McCullers' start right now and to the Yankees' start last Sunday. Obviously, 4 earned runs, the same amount. But if he goes another inning, other than the hits, everything looks the same, even the strikeouts. So it could be that the first 2 innings is a big struggle for him since that injury. And like you said, only 5 outings this whole year. That's a big shocker. Yeah. And I didn't even realize that going into the postseason, he didn't pitch that much.
He pitched amazing against the Mariners.
Yeah,
Lance can't. But those 3 starts he had before the end of the year were on 4 days rest. So now you have Lance doing it on 6, 7, 8 days. You know what I mean? He's not made for that. Lance is like an NBA shooter. The more he does it, the better it's going to be. If you don't let him do it, then it's not. He's got to find it on game day.
Yeah, there's some guys like Scherzer, not this year obviously, but in the past, Scherzer, he'll take the ball on 2 days rest, three days rest. But there's other type of pitchers out there, they can't do it unless it's that 4-day rest, 5-day rest period. And it's just creatures of habit at the end of the day.
Fromberg can go on 2 or 3. Christian Javier will go on 2 or 3. And Christian Javier will probably be better at it for length, like inning-wise. But Fromberg will probably give you 2 or 3 good innings on 2 or 3 days rest.
That's what I noticed with Framber. He's one of those guys. He's a bulldog on the mound. Even Christian Javier, you mentioned it. He dominated the Yankees back in June, the combined no-no, and then back even, a week ago in Game 3, I believe. But just like that, Javier, and then you add in, I believe we should see Urquidy tonight with all the things you guys been saying. But even Urquidy, he owned the Yankees throughout the season and even last season too. So I'm surprised we didn't see that much.
If I don't see Urquidy, then I sure as hell want to see Luis Garcia because he gave up that home run to Real Muto in Game 1. But other than that, he pitched really well. And he might be somebody that you could use a couple times in this series. So he got to go today if you don't use Urquidy. Actually, I might be nervous to use Urquidy if he ain't pitched in a month.
Yeah, it's another thing.
I was like,
you're throwing him right in the fire.
I feel like they're just like holding him to trade him at the offseason or something. Like don't get hurt. Just you're there to get traded, man. Like, I mean, always looking forward. There's gonna be one pitcher that if Hunter Brown is who they think he is, somebody's taking that. Hunter Brown's taking that 6th spot from somebody next year, and I mean that's win or lose. So. I mean, guess this is y'all's tryout, guys, because
And I'll say it again. I said it earlier. I'm not so sure that the Astros fan base is loyal to Lance or obligated. Because if it wasn't for the money, I'm telling you, he might be one of those guys that they would move on from.
Yeah.
No disrespect to him, but he's just a breaking ball pitcher. You have other guys who can do that better, in my opinion. So if you ask me who I would rather keep, Lance or Urquidy, I want Urquidy.
Yeah, when you talk to even local rappers here and everything, everybody loves Lance for his attitude, for the talking mess to the Mariner fans on Twitter, for being, the iconic "Bury Me in the H." Everybody got live for it, but nobody's ever like, "Yo, man, that guy, he can shut it down like Framber does." Like, it's never that. It's always like, "Oh man, I love Lance." Yeah. Why? Oh, it's because I love him, man. He's cool, and it's just like, oh, cool. Off season, that's, and I guess it didn't help. Also, he was injured for like a whole year, and then
but if you're being completely honest about Lance, if you go back to 17 when we won, 18 and 19, those were probably some of our better teams. Lance helped our team most when he came out of the bullpen.
Yes.
Because in 17, he clinched a game coming out of the bullpen. He pitched a lot of innings coming out of the bullpen. So that's where he was more beneficial to us, especially when you have a fastball dominant starting rotation, and he's kind of the antithesis to that. It's like, oh, you're tired of seeing 100? Just then look at this curveball and slider all day. So that's where he helps us the best, I think.
It's similar for the Boston Red Sox postseason run with Chris Sale, how he was going in and out of the rotation in the bullpen. And then it led to injuries after the fact in the following years, but they were still a solid team without him. That could be similar to what we see with McCullers if they don't.
We'll see, like Lance, to that point, is Lance and Charlie Morton did that for us in 17. Charlie Morton kept doing it. Lance just no, I'm a starter.
Morton was a dog in 17.
But even think about what Morton did coming out of the bullpen in some games for Tampa. It's like, dude, so you can't start 2 games in this series, but can you give me 2 innings in game 6? Imagine if Lance did that, if he gave you 2 or 3 innings in game 2 and then game 6,
So who's starting for Philly tomorrow?
I'm not sure.
I believe it's I'll check right now just to make sure.
I've been taking it game by game, but this one's halfway, and I'm like, I want to.
It's not who it was yesterday.
Yeah. It's Christian Javier versus Aaron Nola.
Okay.
I love it.
And game 5, it's slated right now. Things could change. Verlander versus Syndergaard. And the Phillies were saying before game 3 yesterday with the rain out that Syndergaard could come out of the pen tonight or game 4 if needed.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hate on him, but I just have a feeling that at some point we're going to crack that bullpen, and I need it to be today. I tell Nick every time we talk, we're going to fuck that bullpen up. We're going to do it. We're going to do it, but we haven't done it yet.
The bullpen's been their kryptonite so far. Obviously, you think of the offense, but they're just holding it
We
down.
haven't scored on their bullpen yet, though.
Yeah, that's true. But who was that in the bullpen, honestly? I didn't see.
For them?
For Philly?
Mm-hmm.
Bellani?
But speaking on Houston, they're one of the best teams in all of baseball when it comes to executing on your opponent's mistakes. Throughout the whole Yankees series, we saw it game in and game out, from the managerial decisions to the actual errors on the field. It seems like you guys always hit on that. And you mentioned it before, they're a winning type of team. You have Jeremy Pena, the ALCS MVP, in that clincher. He was sack bunting in the 8th inning. You don't see that out of young rookies like that. So if
because
they can,
this is a terrible defensive team, so you have to put the pressure on them.
Oh, it's Balotelli that got worn up right now.
It was one slip up we saw in game 2 when Segura made their error, I believe, or Hoskins made the error at first, and I don't believe they converted on anything because it was 2 outs anyway. But just like that, those plays, 9 out of 10 times, Houston converts on it.
Which Nick will tell you, I'm a strong advocate for getting hit by pitches. Like, if it's coming, just let it hit you. So when they didn't let Aletmus Diaz take first the other day, I was mad.
He
in my
leaned
head, I
into
was
it.
like,
He
He leaned into it, but who cares? It's not the point.
he leaned into it definitely the second time. The first time I'm like, just let it be. But the second time
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to hear that the voiceover, and they released it after, and I'm like, Jesus, that umpire went off.
Yeah.
I would have leaned into it. I'm like, man, this is the World
But like
Series.
right now, you got McCormick on first, who's probably one of the fastest players we have. I would be aggressive on the base path because that's about as close as the way you're going to get to shaking Suarez.
Yeah,
Get him out of his comfort zone somehow, you know?
Third base runner of the night. Try to do something here. 2 outs. What is it? 2-1 count.
Yep.
Maybe sneak a hit and run here. They did it against the Yankees on 2 outs.
You guys are ahead of me by just a little bit.
Zach's always ahead of me, so I'm used to it.
For my Thursday night football games, I'm used to the Reddit streams, so I'm always behind. Wow, Maldonado.
Oh, that's okay. When I was doing NBA with these guys last year, it was a time where I was like 2 minutes game time behind.
Yeah, those Reddit streams can get you 3 minutes behind at times.
Let's go,
They'd
Maldi.
say, "Oh, that was a nice 3 by Curry," and I'd see it like 10 minutes later. Oh, there's that 3 you guys were talking about.
It happens. Hey.
Where are you guys
good
at?
shot,
We're
Maldi.
750.
Come on, Altuve.
All right, this is when I need Altuve to show up right now.
Yep.
All will be forgotten. Hey.
This is what Houston does. We break you slowly, but when we start to break you, there's no coming back. Altuve, just get on base, bro. We need 1 run. 1 run will make me feel way better.
Yeah, I need a run here. I can't. Oh man.
Teams are scared of Houston. Like once we start getting players on base, they pull their starters early. So that's why we get pissed off when Dusty doesn't do that.
Yeah, and I'm back with Altuve.
Perfect timing.
I know.
The greatest Houston Astro of all time.
Oh, he's one of my favorite players of all time.
You interviewed him a bunch of times.
Oh, more than once. We know each other on a first name basis. This he's just a gentleman.
Houston, if you say Jose, about 50
great
people
ball player. But this is his moment. His moment now.
Oh man!
Yeah, if it's gotta happen,
I know you guys missed me. I came in at the right time again.
Yeah.
He popped
Well, we
out.
started getting on base with, like you asked.
Yeah, I know, but I spoke too soon. See?
No, let that hit you, Altuve.
Yeah. Woods is it? You like guys get? I heard that you like guys getting hit, huh?
I'm not saying I like it. I'm saying if it's a free way to get to first base, then you just take it in the tricep and let's do this.
As long as you don't lean into it. I'm sure Buck Showalter will love you for that comment. The Mets were hit, 110 times this year?
I'm just saying Altuve popped that up, or he could have took that on the pad. So I would rather.
Well, he's
knowing what we saw in game 2, he's got to go back to the plate and bat again.
Yeah.
Rich, I gotta let you know, down at the bottom here, we're joined by Kevin Wilson, just so you don't get surprised again when you hear a new voice.
No, I see him. Kevin, welcome to the program. Welcome to the watch along.
Yeah, glad to be here.
Where are you out of Houston as well?
No. I am a Massachusetts transplant in South Carolina.
Oh, well, there's some good minor league teams in South Carolina.
Yes, Greenville Drive is the Boston Red Sox.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
low Class A.
Yes. Yeah, that's one of the cities in down there. They're talking about expansion, and that's always a area MLB is looking to expand into. So
No, they could.
Yeah, well,
They
that's a
could
good.
use the
That, you
team
know,
in
that's
the Carolinas.
yeah, they could. Well, enough fans support it down there, though. Well, they have enough. Do they have a
Well,
facility that could have a stadium too? They got to look into all that.
that's the other thing is of the two Carolinas, North Carolina is more palatable,
Yeah,
so to speak.
yeah.
You know, I would love for them to have something in South Carolina, but after what happened with the Carolina Panthers with trying to go and put a practice facility in Rock Hill, South Carolina, just outside Charlotte, the way that went down, I don't know if people are going to go for a baseball expansion or anything like that. But
Who are they
you
rooting
know,
for there? The Astros? Who are they rooting for? The Astros or the Phillies?
I don't know what anybody down here is rooting for. It's a mixed bag. Like NFL teams, they're rooting for the Steelers. I've seen some Cowboys fans. Like they're all over the place. This place is primarily college football. It's Clemson or USC.
Yeah, it's a college town. Right. So Wiz is going to take a little break.
After this half,
Avery's going to take a break, so I'll hang in there till the top of the hour, and then I'll say goodnight till next week. But I'll stay till the top of the hour. This has been a lot of fun, guys. I've enjoyed this watch along. I hope everyone else is. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the SLG Network Sports with Rich and my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso, and watch all the programs here on the network. I sound like a telethon giver right now, like I'm hosting a telethon. But it's true. This is one of the unique and good networks on YouTube and other social media platforms, and you should get involved. Get like, comment, subscribe, and also leave your comments at the bottom of the cube. Remember, Sports with Rich with me and the Wiz Robert Rizzo, live every Tuesday night, 8 p.m., right here on the network. Like, comment, and subscribe. So, guys, before the Wiz steps away, this is becoming more and more looking like, look, we're in the bottom of the fifth inning. But Suarez has been pitching like Suarez for the Phillies, and McCullers hasn't for the Astros. But the Astros have not hit, and that's been a problem tonight.
They finally had something going in that last half inning, and then obviously we saw Altuve pop up. But other than that, they just can't get it going. 3 hits on the day. Suarez is grinding out on those secondary pitches. It seems every time it's the inside half. He's jamming Houston's batters, and like I said, second guessing, and it's going to be tough to get him out of this groove because I don't think the pitch count is that high to begin with. 76 right now.
No, yeah,
it's a good amount going into the sixth.
Yeah,
but we fall into these slumps quite often.
that's all.
Sadly.
Yeah, we saw it in Game 2 against Seattle, 18 innings. Here and there against the Yankees, but overall you guys dominated. But like we're seeing it here, 2-out hitting. Philly done it all postseason. They convert 9 times out of 10, and here we go again, a 1-out base hit by Brandon Marsh. What's that, 2 for 3 on the night for him?
Yeah, and then you look on the Philly. So you got to look on the Astros side, and this is not them. I mean, 0 for 3, Altuve, Pena 0 for 2, Alvarez down. Up and down the lineup, 0 for 2, 0 for 2.
All right, we got Alex Gutierrez here showing some love, saying we got some good guys here at the network. We appreciate that. We got Alberto, we them boys coming in, showing the Astro support.
You don't have to.
He's retarded.
He's a Cowboys fan out there.
I'm on my sneezing frid right now too. Ugh.
It's
Big AB here with McCullers versus Schwarber.
Yep. I'm a little bit nervous.
I am too.
War Bomb making an appearance here.
And Nick will tell you, I never get nervous.
No, I'm always the nervous one. It's actually like chill, relax, chill.
Well, with this guy at the plate, you got to be nervous. He hit that ball
I'm
against
not
San
nervous.
Diego
It's because
like
I know how stupid we're gonna feel if something happens right here.
Schwarber's gonna hit this ball 600 feet if he does get a hold of it.
He's trying to stick low right now, but if he misses, Schwarber's taking it.
You know what this feeling I have right now is, Nick? This is the 27 3-point misses in a row against Golden State the Rockets had when we're only losing by 3. And in your mind, all you can say is, you can go to the basket one time.
I know.
And we kept shooting threes. So if something happened, we were like, he should have been out of the game.
Yeah. I mean, even James
See this stat that came up? Did you see this? That the Phillies were the first team World Series history with 3+ home runs through what? First 2 innings?
First 2 innings, I heard. Ooh.
There was a stat they put up also that said the Phillies average a home runs every 11 at bats.
And in between, they're getting guys on base. It seems like they never hit solo homers other than tonight. Honestly, they had that one solo.
That's the only reason I'm not really mad right now. Is those last two were solo shots, so it's like you can kind of get over that.
That's the thing. Solo homers don't damage you too much unless it gets piled up. The 2-run
That's
homers,
the problem with the Astros. Is right now everybody's swinging for the fences.
Schwarber,
another home run.
Oh yeah, dead center.
Oh man,
this game is
Schwarbomb.
Don't even just leave Lance in there at this point. I don't even care.
Now
put 200 pitches in.
Yeah. Still in the game, gave up his 4th home run of the game. Come on now.
Oh,
thank you, Dusty. Might as well just scratch the game and put her in. Let me see what I got.
It was a kick.
Projected distance of 443 and a 113 exit velo. That thing was crushed.
Excuse me, guys. I'm going to sleep with it. Well, like the change up. Forget it.
It said Ryan Stanek's up to warm up.
This is turning into hell week for Houston fans.
What was the last starting pitcher? They give up 4.
I'm telling you,
who was the last starting pitcher? 4 home runs in the World Series. What started to that last?
Majority of Houston was not happy that Lance was starting today. It was
just typical Lance.
Oh, come on. I'll be right there.
Yeah, they got Stanek going in the pen now. Damage is already done.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm just gonna scratch it.
That's such a tough call. It's like that's his 3rd time seeing the colors. Usually it doesn't fare well.
Thanks, Dusty.
I was debating.
Still
I was debating if they would take him out after seeing Alec Bohm twice because he hit the homer too, but they just kept him in. Really surprised about that.
I think sometimes Dusty forgets it's his job to make decisions. Like I think he literally just stands there and watches baseball.
He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm coaching." Oh man.
I don't agree with keeping McCullers in the game at all. Like he's given 4 home runs up in 5 innings. You gotta take him out.
Yeah, they kept warming guys up, and then he's like, "No, I'm gonna stay with him." Oh, no, I'm gonna stay with them.
The Phillies have one hit that isn't a home run.
I mean, at this point, this is just practice. Like, this is an extra practice day for him. I mean, like,
what now?
Wow.
Oh, another one.
It's just
no way.
It's gotta be. That's gotta be a wrap.
Oh, wow.
DJ Khaled, just look. Send Lance back to Houston. I don't even care to see him anymore. Just send him back to Houston. That's
gotta be a wrap. I don't think a starter has ever given up 5 home runs in a World Series game.
Well,
that's gotta be a record.
Oh, and it's a meatball of a pitch.
Yeah,
That's
the
what he's
middle
been throwing.
slider.
Oh,
Now I could see. Now I would be. Now you could just pound Dusty Baker because
Welcome to being a
2
freaking
innings-
Astros fan, bro.
this guy, McCullers should have been out of this game 2 innings ago.
So Houston reporters just tweeted out Lance McCullers is the first pitcher in World Series history to allow 5 homers in one game.
Yeah, it's never been done before.
oh,
Yeah.
oh,
I get a
right
witness.
down the dick. Oh my
I
god.
told my kids about this.
And
That's
you know
like one of those
what? Off
pitches
the
you see in the
slider,
show.
these have not been weak home runs. They've been bombs.
Yeah.
It's not
Like,
as
I think-
bad as what Lance did, but you know what this reminds me of? Game 1 of the 2017 World Series.
Man,
Nick, what was the
Verlander?
pitcher? No, the dude with the beard. Dallas
Oh,
Keuchel went to
Dallas
Dodger
Keuchel.
Stadium and got jacked.
Disgusting.
Keuchel.
Oh gosh, that was a terrible game. I never mind. I don't feel as bad now.
Well,
That
he didn't
was-
give up 5 home runs.
No, but I mean, it was
I
bad.
think-
It was still hard watching that game. But I mean, if it gives me any hope, Christian Javier is tomorrow, and I don't have to watch this guy anymore.
I think they're making the switch.
At this point, I
You
want to
have
make the
to.
switch.
Oh, it's
I mean,
about-
I should have 2 innings ago, but like I
About
don't know why
time.
I'm doing it now.
I can watch.
Well, I
the
mean, at this
Timberwolves
point, it
and
doesn't even
Bucks.
matter. I mean, the Astros can put up runs. Don't get me wrong, but you're down 7-0. Something's got to happen.
I would just leave him in at this point, man.
They're not going to come back in this one, guys.
No, they're not, and that's why I said, just you know what?
Hey.
I'll be like, who wants to pitch? You ever wanted to
Nick.
pitch today?
Nick, Rich, Zach, I'm a Patriots fan. Never count your team out.
Oh, I'm
I
counting
don't
them out
care.
this game.
Ever.
This game, I'm counting them out. Next game, you're gonna see a different Nick. I'm gonna come in here. I have faith in Christian Javier.
Not only that, you know where the Patriots did that at? They did that in Houston.
Yeah,
See?
I saw a lot of Super Bowls here that were not my team. Hey, I felt like I needed
Texans
to
will
play.
get it eventually. They just need a quarterback.
I just wanted him to do it in my lifetime, and Davis Mills is the quarterback. We need a one of everything. If we need a lot, we're bad.
Yeah,
You
this-
want a wide receiver that wants to play. Brandon Cooks wanted out so
I can tell you
bad.
this: they ran 3 tight ends out of a bunch formation the other day, and none of those fat asses got past 5 yards. So we suck.
Yeah, we do. So
Not that
I'm okay.
you having. What are you gonna do? That's part of sports. You know, you're gonna go. You're gonna have your bad years. You know,
Well-
I don't blame you. I don't blame.
It's not as bad as being a Packers fan right now. You saw playoff after playoff after playoff, and now the season's just abysmal.
When the Astros win the World Series, all will be right.
And if you're a Packers fan, you're probably pissed that your team didn't make any type of trade noise whatsoever.
Absolutely.
That's true.
You saw the Vikings trade in division, for God's sakes, for TJ Hawkinson, which you never
Yeah.
see.
Hmm.
And
But
then
you
and then the
honestly
Bears
think the
traded a
Packers-
second for Chase Claypool. And what did the Packers do? Nothing.
The Packers need more than just one receiver, bro.
Bears were making moves.
Yeah,
Other than-
Riz, the Bears traded a receiver he's going to throw to one time in the next 6 games while Justin Fields accumulates 200 rushing yards.
They will lose 49-7 with Chase Claypool catching that one touchdown. But other than that, it's the same team because within 4 months you traded Khalil Mack, Robert Quinn, and Roquan Smith. So I have enough. I can't even talk about the Bears right now.
And I can't talk about the Cardinals right now either.
The Cardinals, I was at US Bank Stadium on Sunday to watch the Cardinals, and it was a good game. It was a good game. It
But
was
they
a good
did
back
the
and forth.
usual Kyle Murray crap. They're not
Call
going
of
nowhere.
Duty.
Now I'm being the fan. They suck.
Hey, it's all right.
It's no fun
20
to
years
watch
of dominance.
It sucks.
20 years of dominance, and my team is now mid.
Yeah.
Hey, you too.
At least you got championships out of it.
Well, no, and I'm always going to love the fact that there were 6 championships and what could have been 9. I
Only if
say
the
that,
Manning
like,
brothers were born.
of the 9 that New England went to in the Super Bowl, we should have gotten at least 8.
Eli
That
said,
second
if I can't
Giants
ask
Super
Mark
Bowl,
Brady,
that's a
I'm
wash.
outdone.
Patriots should have never lost to the Eagles. What was that, like 5 years ago now?
I've lost total interest in this game right now. I've
Hey,
lost
that's
total interest in this game right now. If Chucky was on, I'd have Chucky on right now instead of this game.
Kevin, that was the legend of Big Dick Nick.
Yeah, oh, I know.
You guys were destined
Again.
to lose that game.
Doug Peterson, who I think is a good coach, and Nick Foles beat the Patriots for the Super Bowl title. Like, how? How?
But you got to think about it at one time. Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville Jaguars almost made a Super Bowl.
Against the Patriots.
Yeah, they were one turnover away from making a Super Bowl. The Jacksonville
One interception
Jaguars
is what
of all
separated them for their
franchises.
first Super Bowl berth ever.
Sure, you're not talking about the Arizona Cardinals, but they came close too, and they could just like the Phoenix Suns. They both suck.
Yeah, I know. Arizona
No.
came close. I remember that one, but
The Phoenix Suns lost for
Yes,
different
sir.
reasons.
So did the
they
Phoenix Suns,
suck.
a team that goes wire. They go wire to wire last year to get to the championship, and they please. I see as a fan there, I can understand. All right, because I don't write about those teams. I just talk about it. Disgusting.
I
First, I
can
was a
talk about the
Cleveland
Bucks
Brown.
beating
I
the
thought
Phoenix
maybe the
Suns all
Browns and
day.
all that. Yeah, well, I can't root for them either. And I could get disgusted with them too. They could go wire to wire and get first place. They'll lose. All right, who's with us? Because I got 10 more minutes here. I apologize for the coughing. Something hit me. I ate a piece of. I had some French fries. I put one down and went down the wrong way. But I'm all right. But you guys got me all choked up. You see what the Astros did to me tonight?
Well, I guarantee you don't defend Dusty tomorrow.
Well, right now I don't. I can understand any Astro fan being upset with him.
Yeah.
Because
Okay,
there's no
imagine
reason why
this.
McCullough should have.
Rich,
Now I
imagine
understand.
this.
I can understand it now more. 'Cause this guy-
130
McCullough
times
should
out
have
of the
not
season.
been in this game after the second inning. And 5
Thank
home runs in a World Series game by a starting pitcher is an embarrassment. Forget about
Preach.
it's an embarrassment.
Amen.
Yeah, they're one of the biggest Houston groups on here. They showed a video of him tipping his pitches, and everybody's just like, after this, how did you leave him in here? And why did you leave him in here? And I mean,
He's going to get questioned about that. I'm anxious to see. I would love to be in that press conference room tonight and asking him why. And I hope he gets challenged why. Because this has never happened before in a World Series game. Start at 5 home runs, which has been established. Most of all, why? When he sees the game is getting out of hand, the guy's got no control. He's got to get the right answer.
This is the same thing he did in Verlander's first start against the Mariners. It's like, come on, dude. Like there's no time for him to figure it out. Pull him.
yeah, he left him in. It's just like, all right, I've seen enough of. I love you, Verlander. You're one of the big reasons why we're here. More like we're getting Cy Young. Lance, I don't love you as much, bro. It's not the same love as with Verlander.
All right, so
I
you
don't
got to
wanna
move
move on
on
to
to
the bet.
tomorrow. You got to move on now to game
No, I can't.
tomorrow night
I can't.
because you got
I need a
Javier
run
against
today.
Noah.
If you
All
don't
right.
get anything today, if you score nothing, then what leg do you have to stand on going into tomorrow? Like we didn't do
True.
shit. At least if you like this is garbage time, so try to get something to carry over to
However,
tomorrow.
they're too good of a team, the Astros,
Preach.
on the road. Even though it's on the road against with that fan base, the whole bit, They're too good of a team with Javier on the mound not to come back tomorrow night and win tomorrow night.
This is
I'm
the
gonna
time I feel.
let you guys, know
Ooh.
that they will
He
win
almost won it,
tomorrow
dude.
night.
I'm gonna take a break. I'll be back in like the next half inning.
All right, well, Wiz, when you
Alright.
come back, I'm gonna leave for the night. But go ahead. We usually stay on already on past 10 anyway, but not tonight. But go ahead. You deserve a break. I'll keep talking to the guys. It's been a lot of fun to watch along. I've enjoyed this. I hope we do it again.
Well, there's at least 2 more games after this, right?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll be here tomorrow for sure.
Tomorrow night, I really believe, guys, they'll bounce back tomorrow night. They're too good of a team to let this 7-0 come on. And they got a good pitcher going tomorrow night.
I think if you can get on this bullpen a bit right now, just kind of hit them down a bit. I think it's a moral victory, I guess. I'll take it. I don't really want to take that, but if I can take anything out of this today, get some hits on this bullpen.
Yeah, but this was really disappointing tonight.
There goes
And y'all can call me stupid, but I really feel like we can score the runs. You just got to do it. Like Rich said, you got to hit.
If people
I've
are
seen
hitting,
us have 7-run innings.
I mean, you watched that game. We scored how many runs? Like 20 something.
Yes, 21 runs. I seen the game in Fenway about a third of the way through the season where we hit 5 home runs in a row, 5 straight at bats.
Yeah.
So we can hit.
Well, there have been plenty of games this year that have ended up with football scores. We've seen like 21-7 and 18-5. I mean, we've seen these kind of games that total triple digits. But the Brewers went into extra inning battles with the Cincinnati Reds, and that final was like 17-14.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought it was football season.
It happens, but I just don't see it happening. The Phillies did with the Astros tonight.
If you put the ball in play, they make errors. Let's just find out what's going to happen.
They do.
Oh,
they don't
here
make
we
as
go.
many. They don't make as many as they used to, but
Well,
They
for
make some
right
good
now, I
plays
just need them to
the
make
first few
one.
games.
So
Says Fox analyst and Hall of Fame pitcher John Smoltz said, "I would be hard pressed to think that the Phillies don't have something on Astros Lance McCullers one way or another after this."
Well, he's commentating right now. John Smoltz is.
Well,
Did he say that? Is that what he said like live?
Wow, did he tweet that out?
they tweeted it out and retweeted by John. What's his name? I follow him on Twitter. By John
reminds
Heyman.
me of 2017 when we did this to Yu Darvish.
Yeah, so John Heyman tweeted it out from Mike Giovanni or Giovanna.
Mm-hmm. It might have been something that he said during the broadcast. And then
I think it was.
Well, Heyman is over there. So.
I got it going on my TV, but I got the volume off, so I can't hear what's.
I'm still sacrificing the Texans on Thursday.
I'm 2 TV set up on Thursday.
They said
Speaking of the Suns, they tip off right now.
Zach,
yo,
I just got a tweet that said Dusty Baker is warming up Jose Urquidy.
I asked for a fastball thrower in the 3rd inning, and then Stanek comes in and does it. And now Dusty's like, man, we should throw some heat. Dusty,
Down 7-0.
I don't feel well, bro. I don't feel well. I may or may not have COVID. I'm waiting on the results. And you're really pissing me off today.
Guys.
I guess you get to see what Urquidy has in a 07 game. I mean,
yeah, what can it hurt? I guarantee you he pitches good.
We'll see Urquidy come out and throw like 102 or something crazy.
No, he's not going to throw 102, but he's going to find a lot of like down and away. He's going to hit the corner a bunch. He's going to get people striking out looking. That's what he does. He's kind of deceptive.
No, I was
You
gonna
see
say
this
he was gonna
tweet?
do some crazy stuff, like go to like 99 and then throw an ethos at like 47.
And Urquidy works
Did-
fast, so he don't like to
Did you
sit there and
see,
think about it.
guys? Did you see this tweet from Bob Nightingale? Because I'm going through it. Just tweeted it out. The most homers McCullers has given up to left-handed hitters in his career. The first World Series pitcher to give up 5 homers, we said, but the most to left-handed hitters in his career.
Jeez.
Who leaves their pitcher in to get 5 home runs? Who does that?
I agree.
That's like
Whenever
waiting
that-
for a drowning baby to float to the fucking 7-foot before you
They
decide to
lost
get
the
in
game
water
in the
and get it.
second. They're losing his second inning. He should have been out. You heard me say it. How many times did I say it during the broadcast? Out. Didn't have no command of nothing.
Yeah, the
Obvious. Tipping
I thought-
pitches. No. He just had no command. Out. Gotta go. It's the World Series.
I thought the Astros fans were wanting Dusty gone before this game. Now it's ramping up. A lot of people are just like, I don't see why you left him in. Like some people are even writing, I can't even blame Lance. This is on Dusty for leaving him out there.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, Nick, Jared Carabas of DraftKings Sportsbook went and tweeted out 15 minutes ago, Dusty Baker must hate Lance McCullers. The whole world knew the Phillies had something on him 9 home runs ago.
Well, I don't know about that. You know that you get that. When I read things like that and hear things like that, I just brush it off.
I don't think it has anything to do with Dusty hating McCullers. I like Jared Carabas. I'm a big fan of his. You know, also coming from my neck of the woods of Massachusetts, so I'm going to root for the homeboy. You know, but no, I mean, it's a funny thing to go and say. That's all. It's not an actual like thing that's happening, or is it?
Well, no one does.
That's giving Dusty too much credit. He really thought everything was fine.
Terrible strike.
It doesn't change my. It doesn't change my perspective of the guy after tonight. However, I do question the decision making here. That I do. I just got a text message back from Carlos Torres, who knows Dusty well, who pitched here in New York for the Mets, who said, "What was Dusty thinking here?" That was his comment back to me. So
I'm for sure gonna put on Facebook what is said from Dusty today and see how the Astro fans react to it, because it's easy for me to go into the groups and read, but there's a lot. I mean, just in all the groups I'm in, just on our Facebook page. I mean, even the old stuff of Lance, they're going and finding that and commenting on there. Like it's gonna be.
Here we go. Yeah,
a fun night.
He comes in.
This is exactly what happened last year. Is we just stopped hitting the ball. I'm telling y'all, we do goofy shit. Somebody has to rile this team up.
Well, tomorrow they better rile.
why don't you go there? Take a trip to Philly and route them up.
Let's go, Zach.
Let me see if I got COVID or not. My results should be here. Because I don't feel that well at the moment. But I got a bunch of medicine in me and some orange juice and cookies.
Now that's just what just happened to me. I had an attack 10 minutes ago, and I'm wondering. I've
What?
never had that happen to me before like that. Sneezing and coughing like crazy, 10 minutes ago.
I got the chills, but I'm hot. I got one sock on. I don't know where the other one went.
I had the chills the other night. They would go on and off, but that's I don't know. I don't know.
Man, these fans are going in on Dusty.
Yeah, I'm reading some of
What are they
Really?
saying?
What do you expect?
Somebody
What
said.
are they saying? Yeah.
So somebody wrote about the Lance McCullers being the first, and they go, it's probably because Dusty is the only manager to leave his damn pitcher in that whole damn time. And they're just everybody's saying love it whenever Dusty lets us set these dumb records. Dusty Baker, the first manager to not pull a struggling pitcher who gave up 5 home runs in a World Series game. Thanks, Dusty. And
he cost himself his job tonight.
Like I said, he's got to be questioned. He's going to be questioned about that. You got to watch the post game, guys, and see what he says. But I can't wait to hear that post game presser because I want to hear in his low tone, the manner that he talks. What was his rationale in keeping McCullers in that game?
Well, I can tell you this: I listen to a lot of Dusty, and sometimes I feel dumber after. So I'm not sure if you want to listen to it.
Somebody said, "I didn't know the home run derby was today." Thanks, Dusty.
Well, that's a good one.
Urquidy in the game.
Here I just there's a video that I just found on the Astros Twitter from Ben Verlander. It's a side-by-side video of McCullers, and yeah, he's tipping his pitches on his fastball. His leg kick is higher than on his breaking pitches, and it's a considerable difference. It's about a 6-inch difference between where his knee is on a fastball and then where it is on a breaking ball.
Yep, I'm looking at that right now. At Ben Verlander on Twitter, the tipping video.
Yeah.
Yep, big difference and.
Big difference. And just in his stance altogether. It's not just his knee. His whole stance is different.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about delivery motions before, but some guys, it could be the whole figure when it comes down to it. If you're rattled,
but you know what gets me about this,
see the difference.
too? When a pitcher does that during the course of a game, you're going to keep him in. You got to talk and you have to make adjustments. He made no adjustments at all. And
not one mound visit.
Surprised me. No.
Yeah, not one
no
mound
adjustments
visit.
at all.
One mound visit.
No, I don't know. I feel like
welcome to being an Astros fan.
What's one wrong with him tonight? Because then that's got to be asked. McCullers has to be asked the same thing. I know what McCullers will say. He'll say, "I just could not find my spots. I had no command." That's what they all say. What does Dusty Baker say about this? Because it was bad game. This was bad decision making, keeping him in the game. That's why his game went out of hand. You see that? He's got to go. Go to your bullpen.
I know before the series started, a lot of the media was asking why Urquidy hasn't pitched yet. And he's like, I just haven't found a spot for him. So it's going to be weird when they start asking him, well, you had a perfect spot. And, I mean, he's doing what he's doing right now, which is terrible. But
I would have walked 2 in a row now.
I mean, at this point, just go out there and just warm up, bro. I don't even care. You haven't pitched in a month. Just
the dude hasn't pitched in a month.
Yeah, just go out there and warm up. Use this for tomorrow or something, bro.
This guy was our number 4 starter for most of the year, and he hasn't pitched in a month.
Yeah, he's the only one with the World Series win, Verlander, and he has.
If I knew Lance was going to pitch like that, we could have kept on reading.
I'm just reading a tweet from someone. I don't know where this guy's from. He said, I want Lance McCullers to be gone after the season. You've seen enough, and Dusty Baker will do something about it.
There's this tweet, you guys, I think you get a kick out of it. And he says, being an Astros fan is so pathetic. I just ran a charity 5K to raise awareness for it.
That's all I got.
Yeah. Tomorrow they win. They're not. They'll say other things. Man. That's how fans are.
Oh man,
I can't blame Astros fans for being bitter tonight and angry and aggravated. I don't blame them. But they win tomorrow night. Everything. That's how it goes. That's just how it goes. You know, it's just.
But you gave a game away.
This team down big time tomorrow night.
You gave a game away
because they're not doing anything. These are not the Houston Astros tonight.
I will stick by this. If we end up winning the World Series still, Dusty right off in the sunset.
You give him a position in the front office and advisor or something.
Do that too. That's fun. Hang out with Jeff Bagwell and Craig Biggio back there. That's cool with me. But I can't do another season with this.
Nope. You're gonna lose a spot anyway if you don't hire him.
Go to Taco Bell. You get your free tacos tonight or tomorrow. There's a Schwarber
True.
home
I don't
run.
want
Free
a 7 run loss and diarrhea. Chill out.
Somebody
It's a free Doritos Locos taco.
Okay.
somebody in the
And
group put
just to pile on the McCullers' bad night and Dusty's mistakes with the decisions. Look at the 1 through 5 batters for Houston. 1 hit combined with 2 strikeouts. Obviously,
Yeah.
strikeouts ain't big with that stat, but 1 hit out of the 1 to 5 batters, that's not what we were expecting out of it. Alvarez, Altuve, Bregman here and there. It seems like Altuve, Alvarez, and Pena have slowed down a lot since game 1. Altuve
But
had
we didn't-
3
they-
hits.
They didn't play
What,
particularly
game two?
well against the Yankees either.
Yeah, Altuve had 1 hit in the whole series, I believe. It was Pena on offense.
Oh,
but
he just
the
had the
pitching
3 hits
dominated.
in game 2. You'd think he's going to break out of it with 3 hits in game 2, but he looked horrible in New York in the whole postseason. He looked horrible. But we talked about it earlier, guys. You know, he said after those 3 hits, that he made adjustments to his approach at the plate. Not tonight.
See,
And that-
Altuve is like Forrest
Baseball's
Gump.
that
Right?
type. I don't care if it's a World Series. You know,
Jose Altuve is like Forrest
I don't
Gump.
care if
He's
it's
not
the
a
World
thinking
Series.
man.
I don't care if it's the first game. Yeah, it's this is how the game is. This is just, you know.
So I know we're all bored talking about this, so I took the liberty of pulling up the NBA scores from tonight. Games earlier in the day, Nets Bulls. The Bulls wins 108-99.
Not for
Another
anything, but
Brooklyn-
I got Avery
another
trained
Brooklyn
here
loss.
because I go updates on the show, and here's Avery doing it now without even me asking him.
Warriors Heat just wrapped
That's
up.
great.
Heat takes the win 116-109. Magic Thunder in the last 3 minutes. The Thunder are up 3, 109-106. And Timberwolves Suns tipped off about 10 minutes ago. It's currently 6-2
little
halfway
loss
through
for
the
the
first
Sun.
period.
Yeah. The Suns are they let them. They'll start off them. Really, I have no comment.
the surprising team on basketball for me has been the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, the Utah Jazz have been.
I feel bad for Steve Nash. I really do.
I know.
Yeah, he was just fired today.
I don't because
That whole organization's falling apart.
That
I hope it does.
organization is terrible.
I hope it
They
does.
can't
for the
make
Rockets.
right. Whatever they do is wrong. But I'm glad
Fucking
that's
Petey, man.
they're really bad. Whatever they do.
Yeah, no, Steve Nash from the beginning, he was in a no-win scenario, honestly.
No, well,
Steve
they're
Kerr
Kyle
said it
Irving
today.
is.
They asked Steve Kerr today, and Steve Kerr, obviously one of the best basketball coaches in the whole league, said, "I'm really lucky. You throw me in that situation, I wouldn't have done any better than Nash." So you look at all the drama from last year piled onto this year, and Kyrie.
And look who
the
they're
last week-
hiring to be Wiz. Guys, look who they're hiring to be their new coach.
Boston.
Yeah, the Celtics coach.
Well, it's like
Oh,
they're
is that
doubling
official?
down.
Talk about throwing
Yeah,
the
it's
wood in the
official.
fire. Look at that. How do you do something like that? The guy is suspended by the Celtics for the year with the play. He can go somewhere else, and the Nets decide, oh, we'll make him our new head coach. How do you do that? It's just
I just don't understand how you can even hire a guy who's on a suspension from an organization.
well, they
Well,
gave
they
him
didn't
permission to
suspend
do
him.
that, but that's the weakness of this commissioner. Silver has to step in and say, "Oh no, you don't." But he's at the owners, just like all owners in all sports. They're telling him, "Do what you want." Bad. Another black guy for the NBA. Bad.
And
Yeah,
and
bad
at,
luck.
and at the end of the day, it wasn't even just the Nets firing Nash. Nash wanted out. It was a mutual decision, and we can go back and forth on what mutual means with that situation. But at the end of
You know what?
Nash
Wiz
did not want to be. Nash did not want to be in that situation. So for him to be out of it now, I bet he's happy.
You know,
And same goes with the Nets.
He's
You're
not a bad
piling on
coach. He should go
night in
home
and
to
night out with
Phoenix.
the off the court issues.
Maybe he'll end up back in Phoenix. He loved it there as a player. And maybe he'll go back there, and he still loves that. He still owns a home there too.
I
He'll go
think the
back
big
there.
reason maybe it would have been a mutual decision between him and the Nets is that Kyrie just came out and tweeted support for a very anti-Semitic film that's being produced.
Very.
And I don't think he
wants.
wants to deal with that HR stuff.
Mm-hmm.
No, and I would tell you, he's such an asshole, Irving. I'm sorry, I got to say it.
He's just a head case.
The vaccine thing last year is another story. That wasn't totally his fault, but they've always been an issue over there. So I'm glad that I'm not a fan of that team. I don't root for them.
I mean, the vaccine thing, I could care less about. It's your body; you can do what you want with it. I don't care.
Right,
but it's the anti-Semitism now that.
It's horrible.
Why are you coming?
Well, why didn't Adam Silver step in on that and say something right away? He should have to the NBA to tell them that you got to suspend the guy for making comments like that. That's what I don't understand. Where's Adam Silver in all this? You haven't heard a thing about him. He didn't said anything.
And he should be stepping up. Silver did excellent with Don Sterling.
Maybe he went back to maybe he went back to his other universe. He looks like an alien anyway.
Well, like with the Don Sterling issue way back when Silver first came in.
He went back in his he went back in his ship and he went to another universe. The guy's such a moron.
Tell us how you really
Kevin, go ahead. I want to hear your thought.
Well, if you guys remember when Don Sterling, the former LA Clippers owner, was caught, on a hot mic with his then girlfriend saying quite a few racist remarks, Silver banned him for life.
Right.
So it's like, maybe not a banning for life, of Kyrie Irving,
so
but
at
least Silver's step in. It's like
he
he's
didn't
done
step in on this.
And to add
there's
on to
something
that,
not right there.
In a league where we see all the advocation year on year with the T-shirts, the on-the-court logos, where is it now with one of the major topics across not just the sports world? We see this on Fox News and CNN. The last 3 days, that's what they're talking about. And for the league not to mention anything, for Brooklyn didn't even mention anything, the owner tweeted out, and it wasn't even like a formal post. It was just a random tweet acknowledging what Kyrie did. And it's like, it's got to be more than that.
Mm.
Well, I can understand maybe wanting to keep it under wraps too, keeping it within the organization of how they're going to deal with it and what the solution is going to be. I understand maybe not putting that out into the media until you figure out what you're going to do, but something's got to be done sooner or later.
Yeah, no, with that, and they let Irving talk to the media after Saturday's loss, but ever since he's not allowed to talk to the media, and I totally get that part. But don't let him talk to the media on Saturday. They should have let it be from then, because after that, the story added on.
Yeah. Well, I hope he burns that franchise down to the ground because I have his draft pick.
That Harden trade set them back so much.
Mm-hmm.
Who's got the broadcast on in the background?
I heard
me, because me with my dumb commander technology, I'm turning it down. I'm going to be getting off with you guys soon anyway. But let's remind everyone, because I see we do have quite a few viewers on the SLG Network Sports with Rich. We're here Tuesday Night Live at 8 p.m. Like, comment, and subscribe to the SLG Network and my channel, YouTube, Rich Mancuso. That's the Wiz Robert Rizzo. There's Avery, our great producer, every Tuesday night. And the guys from Houston and everywhere else joining in on the watch-along that have great programs here on the network. So do tune in to the programs here on the SLG. Like, comment, and subscribe. I can't say that more than enough. Sounds like I'm doing a telethon, but it's not. It's for you, the fans out there. That's why we do this, and these watch-alongs are a part of it. Thank you for joining in. And guys, this has been great. I really enjoyed this tonight. Hope we do some more. I'm going to keep you guys on with the Wiz because he loves this stuff. I'm an old man. I gotta take it more easy. I can't go on more than this. Than is enough. You guys are all they're so much younger than me, more energy. What can I say? And you Astro fans, have faith. Have
Christian
faith.
Javier
Game 4 tomorrow. It's not over. You rebound
Christian
tomorrow
Javier
night.
tomorrow.
You'll win game 4. You'll feel much better about what happened tonight. But I anxiously await for the post game and hear what Dusty Baker has to say. Guys, this has been a blast on my end. I want to thank you, everyone else. Again, tune in next Tuesday night for me and the Wiz, Robert Rizzo, Sports with Rich, 8 p.m. live here on the SLG Network. Till then, as I said, everyone, keep it in the ring, guys. Great job. I'll see you next week.
See you later, Rich.
Later, Rich.
See you, Rich.
Later, guy.
Hey, guys, since we're all here, how about we just do a rundown real quick of everybody's here? We'll do everybody's shows real quick. Bayou City, you guys, YouTube exclusive now, is that correct?
Yeah, we do a pre-recording, YouTube exclusive, put it out usually Wednesday, Thursday mornings, so you can watch it while you're being lazy at work. You can hear about our Houston Astros, Rockets, Texans. We'll be doing some XFL stuff coming up in February, more than likely. We're just mixing everything. We talk one time we talked rugby, Zach?
Rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much anything. Because we get bored easy.
Yeah.
Kevin, where can they find you?
So you guys can go and find me on Mondays and Fridays. Mondays, the BJD podcast, 8 p.m. Live. It's like a variety. We talk about whatever. Me and Ray. Like last night, it was a Halloween themed episode. So he was Maui and I was Where's Waldo. We were talking Halloween candy. We were talking Tom Brady and putting him out to pasture. I also do a lot of the production aspects to it. Like I put together the intro video, the background. Since we don't use StreamYard, we use Restream, which allows for a video background. Which I got a couple in the works for the upcoming holiday season. And then you can also catch us on Fridays for Off the Top Rope, which is the pro wrestling show, where we strictly talk pro wrestling. Maybe we kind of go off topic a little bit, because it's just natural with me and Ray, but it's a pro wrestling focused show with because it's on a Friday night. It's in the middle of Friday Night SmackDown, so we go and inject what happened on SmackDown if it's a big moment, and then after SmackDown's off the air, we go and do a quick little recap of what we saw. Go through the week of pro wrestling. It's the premier live pro wrestling talk show, because there are some pro wrestling talk shows out there that are all about praising one company over another. We don't do that. We're equal opportunity haters and we're equal opportunity lovers. Okay.
Ditto.
All right. All right, that's good. You can catch me Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern on the CDs podcast with my host, Draven. We do football. We'll talk a little bit of baseball. We talk a little basketball. I talk a little basketball. Draven doesn't know shit about fuck when it comes to basketball. You could ask Draven to name 5 players in the NBA. He'd say like Giannis, Steph, and then he'd blank out. That's the kind of person Draven is.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
Julius Erving.
Dr. Dre.
And of course,
Pistol Pete.
Sports with Rich.
Sports with Rich, Pack Sports Show every Tuesday night on at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Me and Rich Mancuso talking sports. You name it, we're talking about it. We start with New York and we go around the board with everything. Fact of the week, daily, and also...
It's not trivia, it's a fact.
Not trivia, it is a fact. Avery got it once, I got it once, and I believe Cal got it once or twice. So you guys got to get on that. Aaron Judge bobblehead's still available. We've been trying to give it away, still can't. But Sports with Rich every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Sweet. Yeah. So we got content every day of the week for everybody. And no matter what you like, we got something here for you.
Like an ice cream shop. There's a flavor for everybody.
Yeah.
Sure. Get on what's popping. I'm sure they can come up with an ice cream flavor.
Yes.
When that commercial comes on, it wakes me up a little.
They got to be working on like a funfetti flavor over there or something, right?
Yeah, he has some new stuff in the works right now. He said he got back up and running everything.
Yeah.
I was like, it was obvious he's in Houston. He has to sell some blue and orange popcorn here. But
yeah, he came in during CDs and he said he had the Houston or the Astros mix on the way.
Yeah, he showed me him. I was like, "What is the flavor?" And he's like, "It's Astros." I was like, "No. What is the flavor?"
What does that mean?
I don't even know what that means. But
what the fuck does that even mean, Kobe
I
Bryant?
had food poisoning last week. I'm asking questions now.
And you should watch Bayou City Boys because we're about to play the Cowboys and Deshaun Watson back to back. So my best jokes have yet to be told. So
are the Cowboys actually going to get Deshaun at the end of the season? Is that one?
Browns? I don't know. Well, I think we play them just.
Yeah, we play Cowboys and we play Browns.
Oh yeah, week 12, I believe.
Yeah, like 12 and 13 back to back.
Yeah. I think Watson's suspended for 11 games, so his first game back.
I think his first game back is week 12.
Yeah,
against Houston.
He's getting some extra hate today, so. I
told Caleb I'm gonna go to OfferUp and buy me a massage table and jump through it like a Bills fan.
No. Leave jumping through tables to the Bills fans. They're pros. They're professionals of that shit.
Well, I've done worse. I wasn't lying earlier. It took me 3 tries before I stopped sticking that fork in that outlet. So
Bills Mafia is incredible. Even I see it at MetLife when they travel against the Jets and the Giants. They versus the Jets on Sunday, and honestly, it's going to be 70% Bills fans in there. They travel.
Can't believe they made that trade today for Naeem Hines.
Lance McCullers offered up 5 dinner plates to the Phillies.
Yeah, Dusty and Lance. That's all you gotta. That's all I'm tweeting out to.
You know, with the Bills, like I was saying it the other day, this team is very hard to root against, and like they're in division for me. You know, so it's like I'm supposed to not like this team, but it's like I can't root against them. There really isn't like a bad boy type player. The fans are just like the nicest down to earth people who also have a touch of insanity.
Yep.
You know, it's like
the Patriots Jets kind of have the same relation as like any NFC North team and the Lions. It's like you want them to be good, you can't root against them, but they're just bad.
Exactly. You know, it's like you want little brother to finally get one, and it just never happens, but you're always rooting for him.
It's tough because you saw the Lions start the season 1-5, but they had the number 1 offense in the league, but defense was dead last. They just couldn't get a stop. The Lions were a field goal away from beating the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're still undefeated.
Yep.
Calvin, you better eat chicken sandwiches tomorrow and the next day.
For real.
And
I'll send you some fucking money.
I have used the same shampoo in every win. I didn't use the same one today because last game they won. So I got to figure something out. But your chicken sandwich thing, we've lost every game. You haven't eaten it.
You got me spending all this money
too, right?
It's only superstitious if it don't work right. Now, I ain't doing Seattle stuff and putting my shoe on my head. I did it once and it didn't work right.
All right. So 2013 Stanley Cup Finals, Boston Bruins, Chicago Blackhawks. I had a Bruins jersey of Jaromir Jagr because we got him at the trade deadline that year. I wore it for every game they won. but I couldn't have it washed in time for Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final.
I wore a t-shirt, the same t-shirt for the first 2 series without washing it because I'm that superstitious. Ask Nick, I had to like leave it on the back of my desk chair. I was like, please, sunlight, help this shirt.
You had the same orange shirt on though.
When we lost Game 1, I wadded that hoe up, and I have no clue where it's at.
Oh, yeah. Now, I do this every Patriot season. I've got like 6 or 7 jerseys, and I rotate them. Like, I wear a jersey, they keep winning, I keep wearing that jersey. As soon as they lose, the next game, try a different jersey. I went through like 3 rotations in 2020.
It's
2017. Go ahead.
It's tough being a Bears fan because every freaking year you buy a jersey. 6 months later, the guy's gone for what, a second round pick or a 5th round pick that won't turn into anything.
Well, I mean, think about the Cleveland Browns and all the quarterbacks since they were brought back into the league in '99. Started with Couch, and then it's like the meme of like the Cleveland Browns jersey with like all the duct tape names.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And I'm the idiot that bought the Trubisky jersey 2 years ago, having some confidence in him, but another $80, $100 down the drain, and
Trubisky was the best quarterback that Chicago had since Cutler.
Yep, for maybe 6 games, and other than that, it was just a crapshoot.
Robert, you don't have your Justin Fields jersey?
Not yet, because I'm still going through the.
I'm fairly confident you could get a Brisker jersey.
I like Brisker. The what is he? The corner, the safety. I always mix it up. Mm-hmm. And he's learning from Eddie Jackson, a veteran safety across the league. He's gonna be.
Y'all's team is like ours. Y'all's team kind of sucks, but y'all have an amazing secondary.
Exactly. Like, other than the secondary, which they gave up 49 points yesterday, like, there's nothing to show for. Like, even Montgomery. I love Montgomery as a player, but the stats don't show it week on week.
It's like Houston. Y'all secondary's good. Pollard killed y'all on the ground.
Yep.
Pollard's going to be RB1 in Dallas now. I mean, it's pretty much it's a done discussion at this point.
It's similar to what we were saying about McCullers starting Game 3. Zeke's getting all these reps. You look at the money with the contract. It's like he has to play.
Yep. So he'll start just because he's like, he's the money bag. He's the face of the franchise. But Pollard's going to get 65% of the snap share, I bet.
He had 3 touchdowns yesterday.
Yep.
You know what else was crazy yesterday? You saw Christian McCaffrey run, pass, and throw for a touchdown. What? My man gets traded to San Francisco, and a week and a half later, he's Jesus?
I think 3rd player to ever do that. 3rd running back to ever do that.
He's like the first player to do it since 1980.
No, 2005 when LT did it.
Oh, yeah. It's basically 1980.
One of 3 running backs. Walter Payton, LaDainian Tomlinson, C-Mac.
I think that's a pretty good class.
He's the most underrated football player ever.
Zach, did I just hear you think Chris McCaffrey was underrated?
No, LaDainian Tomlinson's name is not mentioned nearly enough in all-time great.
Oh, no. That's a guy that, as watching him as I was younger, I hated the Patriots playing against him because it's like you can't stop him. And it's like, no, I'm giving that man his flowers. Like, that was a good running back. One of the greats. Definitely deserving of being in the Hall of Fame.
And
you can say that, but then on the flip side, you got a franchise like the Detroit Lions who had 2 of the most generational talents of all times and wasted their careers.
Yeah.
Not my problem.
Not mine either, but
I can only critique what they put on the field.
Speaking of the Lions, you bring up Sanders and Calvin Johnson, just like that today. Another trade down the window. Everyone thought Hawkinson was going to be a stud 2 years ago out of that draft, and moves on to, Minnesota? I think that's a good landing spot for him, but how many times do we see in-division trades? That in-division trade was weird.
I mean,
that's
all hell broke loose in March when the Vikings traded picks with the Packers. I mean, you just don't do that. You don't help somebody in your division get better. And what did they get for Hawk? A second and a fifth?
Yeah, second
Well,
and fifth.
A lot of Patriots fans in 2002 said the same thing when Bill traded Drew Bledsoe to Buffalo. Ultimately, it worked out in the Patriots' favor.
I'd say
But
so.
still, it's like, trade him in the division. You now face him twice a year. But it's like, well, no, you also know how Bledsoe operates. So you face him twice a year.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of different with a tight end. I mean, Hawk is not. I don't think Hawk's going to be a generational talent. Well, then again, nobody thought Brady was going to be that either. But we've seen a couple of years of Hawk, and he's good. Don't get me wrong. He's probably a top half tight end in the league, but he's not that good.
No. His duties on the Minnesota Vikings are those of what Zach Ertz is. Get the linebackers off my running backs and get the safeties underneath my deep threat, and that's your job. Go 12 yards that way and turn around. Let me see both numbers, and I might throw you the ball.
I think Ertz gets a fair number of targets in that offense.
He does. But that's the point. It's like you're my 15-yard check down every time. Like I expect you to be in the same place every time. They're not asking Hawkinson to do much.
Yeah, I think this is only going to help Thielen, Jefferson, and Dalvin Cook more than TJ getting more touches with the ball. I think he understands.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that move is even more so to help. What's that slot receiver they have? Osborne.
Was it Osborne?
It
for
could
Minnesota.
Help.
Yeah.
Thielen.
One of the tight end got hurt, right? Irv Smith.
Yeah, Irv Smith. He's out with an high ankle sprain, 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah, so this slides Hawkinson right in.
Mm-hmm.
What the? Kevin Durant says he woke up today and was shocked about the Nash fire.
Wasn't it 3 months ago?
Weren't.
Wasn't it 3 months ago he wanted him out?
Yep.
Yeah, I love the turbo.
So 3 months ago that he wanted out.
There's absolutely no way that dude got fired and Durant didn't have a say. Like he didn't know about it.
Yeah, I slept through it, man. I didn't know. I found out on ESPN.
Being in New York, you hear it on the radio everywhere you go. It's a new story every day in Brooklyn. It is a total train wreck. It could be just off the court issues as we see day by day, or even tonight. Obviously, they lost, and with all the Kyrie bashing going on, he had 4 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. That sounds like a stat line. That sounds like a Ben Simmons stat line, not Kyrie.
I was gonna say that was the same line Ben Simmons had.
Oh wow. Yeah, it's like that's what he's averaging for the season when he plays. He's been missing a lot lately.
Let's go. We're tanking for Victor Wembanyama, and we're gonna get another pick.
Victor, who wants your mama?
That kid is incredible. He's
got. I ain't gonna lie. If our Rockets get Victor Wembanyama, Zach, I'm gonna be so obnoxious. I don't care. I'm just gonna be like,
I feel you. I don't blame you because the kid is super fucking talented, but I can't deal with another Yao Ming situation. Like,
I know.
I can't do that.
You don't want a Ralph Sampson again?
No, especially considering we could have traded Ralph Sampson for Jordan.
I don't remember. When I was younger and I found out about that, I was like, what?
We're only, like 8 games in so far. I was need to ask you guys, how do you think of Jabari Smith?
I think he don't know what he is yet. Like, there's just like it's early, but also like he has, in my opinion, very little functional strength. That's the issue. So like, I don't know how you develop him. Like, in my opinion, you can't create a Kevin Durant kind of player out of that guy. Like, he doesn't have the handle, and I don't think he ever will. But I also don't see a post player. So in my opinion, I want to see you play more like a dirt because you're light on your foot. And what I mean by that is go set your screens, but you know what? This screen is not to get the ball open or free. I just want the mismatch with this guard now. Now let me go turn around and shoot this mid-range in this guard's face. He does his shit and he never misses. He's a great shot blocker. I don't have an issue with him.
The Thunder just finished up The Thunder wins 116-108 over the Magic.
Not only that is think about it is he played 2 games back to back against Utah and he held his own. He might have been one of the only players that played good against him.
Mm-hmm. No, it's I saw a few games and just looking at it here and there, it seemed at first like they didn't know who the number 1 option was, but obviously it's so early between Jalen Green and Jabari Smith. But the more games they play together in a season like this where there's not much on the line and just to adjust and grow together, I think it would work out, and we'll see more Jabari Smith.
I'm not a habitual coach hater, listen, but I also don't feel like Silas is the coach for that team.
Yeah, he was a weird hiring from the jump because
he would help some team that is trying to get over the next hump, but I think a lot of what he tries to implement for our team is like too advanced, so then they deviate from it. When it gets close at the end, they're like, no, we just play one-on-one. Your system, that shit, I ain't doing that.
Because we're in it for the first 3, and then they're like the Texans. The first, you're like, man, it's a good game, and then you get to the 4th, and you're like, I'm gonna turn it off. I'm just.
Yep, you fell back on bad habits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like I caught the highlights of last night, Clippers Rockets, and it seemed like the 4th quarter the offense just died out. I think it was 17 points in the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed up.
I couldn't stay. I was hoping to stay up. I fell asleep in the 3rd, and I checked my phone. Game winner. I'm like, damn.
I was so mad. I was in bed, laying down. I'm like, we're gonna win this. And I see Paul George hit that jumper. I turned my TV off so quick. Threw my remote. I was like,
to me though, it's like a good thing though because remember last year early in the season we took Golden State all the way to the last shot, and Curry hit it over Porter. And we played so good after that. I think we won like 5 games in a row after that. So it's like, all right, they're competing. That's all you can ask for. Hopefully you'll learn from it, but you're competing. And we played Phoenix a couple nights ago, and people say Jalen is a lazy defender. But in the first quarter, he embraced it, and he basically told Booker, let's do this. It's me and you. Let's do this. And he held his own. And I realized he's so much bigger than Booker, way more athletic. I was like, okay, he might not ever shoot like Booker, but we got a player.
That's what you.
My personal opinion.
Go ahead.
In my personal opinion, Jalen Green is the number 1 option. It's his team. We build around him.
Yeah.
I saw the Bucks and the Hawks play a couple of nights ago, and the Hawks took them to the buzzer. I mean, they missed a game winner. It was like 99-97, and the Hawks missed a game winner.
Another issue I have with Houston is I think we play too many players.
Yeah,
I'm not so sure. Yeah. I'm not sure that you need to be playing 11 people every night.
I mean, I didn't like when who was it that we had that only played like 6? Is that who was our coach? The old
oh, you're talking about D'Antoni.
Oh yeah, D'Antoni only played like 6 people, and I was like, bro, I need something else, bro. I can't just have Eric Gordon as the only one coming off the bench. Now,
actually, at that time he was starting, and you had the only person coming off the bench was Austin Rivers, and then they would move. Yeah. If Capella needed a break, PJ played the 5.
Yeah, that was a little much. But now I'm seeing, man, I'll look away, and there's like 5 new guys coming in, and then another. I'm like, what the?
Where did these guys come from?
I'm like, there's a whole. I didn't even know the guy was on the bench. Hey.
Well, yeah, I mean, y'all had PJ Walker coming off playing the 5, like Zach said, but PJ Walker's all of like 6'7". He is not. No, he's not a 5. He's a 3 at best.
I mean, we grew up with Chuck Hayes.
For real.
He just can't shoot.
We had Chuck Hayes and Carl Landry and Luis Scola and thought we had a big team.
There was a moment where I felt the Rockets only drafted short players. Like,
we did.
Every time it was a 6'9" power forward. I'm like, dude, is this all in our scouting report? Every year was a 6'9". Oh, first pick? Oh, I know it's somebody else. Oh, second round, 6'9" power forward.
From the University of Iowa, Royce White.
Oh, don't even say that. That was a wasted pick. I hate that dude. Such a wasted pick.
You want to talk about waste? We could turn back the clocks a little bit and talk about how the Bucks could have traded for Steph Curry.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
All we had to do was give up Monte Ellis.
Stop. Hey, there was a moment in the league when Monte Ellis and Kevin Martin were going at it with I mean, they weren't gonna do nothing, but that was some good basketball. Hey, Sacramento versus Golden State. Hey. The old Golden State. Hey.
They both got 50 points, and the final score is 80-79.
Oh man.
Ain't it crazy how the NBA's changed? Like even within like the last 10 years, like
Blame Curry.
we went from scores barely being over 100 points to Vegas totals is 240.
The totals nowadays are crazy. I checked my phone. I'm like 245. Give me the under, and then every time I recheck it after the night after, I'm like, they scored 275 together. I'm like, how? It's like
Final 135 to 131.
I'm like, is there any aspect of defense whatsoever?
No.
Scoring only. Like, yeah, the Raptors and the Hawks yesterday. The Raptors won by 30, but it was 139 to 109.
I bet the over still hit because you had just like that.
Probably. That's what, 148?
139, 109. That's over 230 right there. Like 238, I think.
48, but yeah. Let's see. What was another ridiculous one? Saturday, Grizzlies and Jazz, 123 to 124. There was another stupid one like a tip-off. Pacers Wizards, 127 to 117.
James Harden's last year at Houston, like our third game of the season, we played Washington, and the final score of that game was 160 to 159.
Yeah, that was
in regulation.
It's something you see in 2K. My player.
Homie, I went 5 overtimes with my buddy in 2K once, and we didn't even get that many points.
You got to get the sliders down.
Can I say this though? Why is it switching to football real quick? Why is it that every bum past DeAndre Hopkins, why is it that every bum that leaves my Houston Texans goes to Arizona?
That's why I fucking hate Arizona.
Like everybody that goes there, they either go. I understand the tight ends one because Mike Vrabel was here and this and that.
Who went there now?
The linebacker that we got rid of that everybody's crying about.
Kamu?
Yeah. And people were like, he's going to be a stud over there. I was like, bro, this dude has been terrible this whole
Last
season.
year, Kamu Grugier-Hill was an animal. He was a animal. This year, he can't do nothing right.
And people were like, oh, he's going to be good over there because of Texas. I'm like, bro, you would still have a job if you did good, bro. But I'm just like, this is like the 10th player going over there. And then I might have to see on Twitter where he's going to be crying and complaining about Houston. I'm be like, come on, man. Like your boy.
No, I don't think he'll say much. He asked to leave, and we let him leave. See ya.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you expect? You're a linebacker who can't cover, so they target you. And we have a rookie that we use a third-round pick for. Yeah, I'm going to see what he can do. If you choose to get mad at that, then so be it.
They got mad that guy kept the ball. It's a foul ball, bro. In the World Series. Yeah.
If I'm Dusty, I make every one of my players take BP before they go to bed. It's like, you know what? Everybody leaves, we're coming back out on the field because this shit is ridiculous.
I need everybody to hit a home run before you get the hell out of here.
We're practicing bunting. We're practicing getting hit by pitches. We're practicing sliding into the bases you on. We're practicing everything. We're going to do shit today.
I'm going to just say they ate a bunch of candy last night.
The 2-day layoff may have affected them, especially on offense, because
Big time.
Look at it. They're going into it yesterday. Those guys took BP as normal yesterday, indoors most likely because the rain was coming. So they prepared like it was a normal day at the ballpark, and nothing goes out of it that night. you wake up the next morning, like we've been saying for the last 3 hours, these guys are creatures of habit. You take them out of anything like that, one slip up, and we're seeing it tonight. I think they have 4 hits, 5 hits all combined.
I think
5
tomorrow
hits.
for sure is the game that we really see. Is this the Astros that we thought they were? They're going to come back from the adversity, or is this the Philly team that has had the momentum the whole time and they just hit them in the mouth and they couldn't do nothing? I mean,
This team is just so different.
I think this is the big number for them right now. Jordan Alvarez is batting less than 100.
oh yeah, since Seattle, he's only had it was only those big homers. That was it. Ever since then, he hasn't done anything. And I think Altuve's struggling has overshadowed it drastically. But me and Zach have been saying it in every live watch along. We're like, everybody wants to get mad at Altuve. He's at least making contact with some of these pitches. Alvarez, there was a game they threw every first pitch down the middle at him, and he just stared at it.
Yep.
And I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Like, they're just throwing a heater right down the middle, and you're just looking at it. And then strikeout look. And I'm like, oh, this is terrible.
I've watched a lot of baseball over the past 5 years since we've been so good. And at this point, like, the X's and O's are kind of over with. Like, you are where you are. It's just time to do it. And I can tell you, if Altuve hits, we win. If Altuve don't, we lose. We're going where Altuve takes us. That's how we win. It's straight up the way it is.
I thought Bregman just hit that out.
I needed that homer right there for some moral victory.
Bregman would
I
have
know.
added,
That was close.
Bregman would have added more to his record book.
Yeah.
What was it? Most homers for third baseman in postseason history.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah, that was left.
Come on, just do it again. Just get it up. Hey.
Especially with
they almost gave Schwarber one of those the other day.
Oh yeah.
Well, it went over the pole.
Yo, that was so close. And it's funny, the way Houston has it in right field, they have the sponsors on the foul pole. So any viewer on TV is like, "Oh, this is a fair ball." It's so confusing on the TV.
The Chick-fil-A sign.
Someone wore that as a costume. Someone dressed up as the foul pole. With all
the seats around that pole in right field at Minute Maid are so good, bro. If you ask me where you should sit at Minute Maid, it's along the first baseline around that foul pole in right field. You can see everything.
Yeah, that's probably the one spot you can see.
And the benefit to those seats that are to the right of the foul pole is there are only 3 per aisle because it's like 2 small aisles. So if people got to get up, then you don't have to wait for all these fat asses putting their booty in your face. It's like, no.
Now, if they ever do a wrestling event there, don't go. It's terrible.
Yeah, don't go. It's terrible.
Yeah, Nick, didn't you say Royal Rumble 2020 was terrible?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, it was very bad. I didn't know when Edge came out until his music hit. I mean,
yeah, you could hear his music, but you didn't know he was there until he got in the ring.
There was people that came out in the Royal Rumble, and I didn't know they were out there until I saw him go over the ropes. And I was like, cool. Oh, this is awesome. And I was right by the dugout. I was like, this is awesome.
But I ain't going to lie, when Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns were in the street fight and they got on top of the dugout, that was cool.
That was cool. Yeah, I mean,
that was probably the best match that night besides The Fiend and Daniel Bryan.
I feel like with the Royal Rumble, you got to find that right seat because even in San Antonio, I know they're coming again back in San Antonio, Texas. And last San Antonio I went to, it was that one where they forced Roman Reigns to come out a second time and the whole place booed. But I couldn't see anything. And then all the screens were broken in the whole arena. I just blamed that to San Antonio. And I was like, yo, there's no screens. And they're like, yeah, they broke yesterday. And I'm like, I can't see over this dude. He's like 7 foot in front of me. Like, so I had to like walk around kind of and watch the whole event. It was the only match I got to saw was John Cena versus AJ Styles. So I was kind of happy about that. But if you ask me to go back there, I won't go back there either.
It's like going to a concert and having some girl on her boyfriend's shoulders in front of you. You got a 13-foot thing you got to look through.
Yeah. I mean, I made that mistake one time whenever I went to a Lakers Rockets game and I sat behind them. I could see nothing. I had I want to say it was Chandler Parsons in front of me. He was like 6'7", and I'm just looking like at his back. I'm like, this sucks. Like,
I feel bad for like all the really front row people that got like sit behind the bench, and they got everybody like standing up all the time, and everybody's 7 foot. You just can't see shit. It's like I paid $1,200 for this to not be able to see.
Yeah, I ain't doing that again.
I think I've said this on Off the Top Rope before, but going to Boston, the TD Garden, and go and watch wrestling events, I found it better to be in like the nosebleeds, like the upper bowl area, because like you're seeing everything. You know, like the first one I went to was TLC 2015. When Roman put Triple H through the table, the spears, and all that after the match with Sheamus. We're like practically on top of the ring, like being able to see everything. We were also in section 316, and I didn't realize that until we actually sat down at our seats, me and my younger brother, going, "Oh shit, we're in section 316, huh?"
I think it depends on how big the venue is, though.
So TD Garden is could sit like 17,000 for like a hockey game. I think wrestling sits like maybe 15 or 16.
I don't know. Like to me, if you go to Houston, the Toyota Center, there is no bad seat.
Amazing.
Like, it's amazing. It's just the way. It's just the perfect circle, and
it's
they
still underground. So every seat, you're kind of like looking down at it. I love it. Like that's anything at Toyota Center I've ever gone to, especially wrestling events. I mean, they're just fun. The environment's different. It feels like the noise is all around you, and you can see everything.
But I'll say this: you see everything at Toyota Center, but you know there's no room for anything crazy. You know what I mean? But when we went to the Astrodome for WrestleMania X7 and Triple H and The Undertaker were on the scaffold, it's like, I couldn't see shit that happened before this, but you're 20 feet in front of me now and I see this. So, I mean, that was worth it, you know?
Yeah,
Madison Square Garden's weird because they added, in the last 5 years, they added like a chase bridge, which is section 400, and it's like you're looking down at the court, whatever, the ring, whatever it be, a concert. And then the 300, you're looking like on a slant. So if you're high up in level 300, you're kind of getting blocked from the bridge on top. So you only see like half of your view a lot of the time. And that's at MSG for Rangers, Knicks, concerts, WWE, you name it.
Yeah. I was at US Bank Sunday, their brand spanking new stadium that they spent so much money on. I swear to God, the entire time I was sitting in like a 20-degree decline. Just like I couldn't help but feel I was leaning forward the whole time. Like I could see everything. You could see everything good as long as people weren't standing up and shit. But the whole time I felt like I was leaning forward and I was going to fall out my chair.
But that's how our football stadium is.
That's how I felt like. That's how I felt like at the old Mets Stadium, Shea Stadium, when I was younger. Going as a kid, it feels like you're slanted down, and if you're sitting in those nosebleeds, it feels like you're gonna fall if you're going just taking a walk down to the steps and get food. It feels like you're gonna fall down, and you're like, Jesus, man, I'm like 400 feet up.
Yeah, Minute Maid Park still like that. I went for a field trip for my job, probably right before the season ended, and I had to be like, "Hey, dude, you gotta change my seat, dog. I can't be up here, man. You're walking like downwards." I was like, "I'm gonna fall, dude." Mm-hmm. And the guy's like, "Yeah, everybody that sits up there, they don't really like it." I'm like, "Why'd y'all make it like this?" Like, I'm like, "I don't need to be up here, man. I'm all right. I'll stay at home and watch the game. I'm good."
I got a better view on the television.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'll tell you the worst wrestling experience ever. In like '93. We went to Astro Arena. WCW was here, and they had a War Games. It was the War Games where the Shockmaster was supposed to be in it before he fell through the thing. long story short, is back in the days, WCW had the really elevated walkway like how AEW does. Well, no, you couldn't see anything. I could not tell you one thing that happened in that match. You could not see the ring. It was the worst experience ever.
It is why Zach hates WCW.
He's my favorite wrestler ever.
I thought that umpire had Jordans on. I was like,
Sturdy with it.
I was like, what? Hey.
He's out here in the Tar Heel ones. He's like that.
If I got one positive of this game, it ain't many. Jose Urquidy got some pitches in, man. Because I'm looking forward to tomorrow, though. At this point.
Okay,
yeah.
Imagine if he did that inning 2 through 6. No runs.
No. Totally
You know
different.
I mean?
Totally
different. We'd be in the fucking bottom of the 8, 2-0.
For me, I'm like, I've never wanted to watch Dusty Baker's press conferences because I don't really care. But this is one where I'm like, I'm waiting for him. I want them to go into that dugout right when the game's over and pull the microphone and be like, what were you thinking? Like,
hey, his old ass is gonna say something completely out of pocket too.
He's like,
That's
well,
what I told y'all earlier. You listen to Dusty Baker and you feel a little bit dumb afterward.
He's gonna be
what
like,
the hell did he say?
well, the restaurants in Philly didn't want to serve us, so our guys are on empty stomachs, and
we're all hungry.
we're making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in the hotel room, and and
He'd be spitting sunflower seeds. Who would have known the rain would have made the cheesesteaks cold? What the fuck are you talking about, Dusty?
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. That's kind of on the Astros, bro. You're in Philly. You've seen how they are with other sports.
Bro, if you are not their team, they do not give a fuck about
you. Should have brought your own catering from here. Why are you going? First of all, that was their fault going to a barbecue place in Philadelphia and asking them for food. You should have gone. You're in Texas. You should have asked anybody over here to do it. I'm pretty sure they would have brought it to you free of charge. That's your fault.
True.
Zach, Caleb said, do you re-sign McCullers then?
Man,
there's gotta be like a Houston bar somewhere in Philly that serves food.
What do you mean re-sign fucking? We re-signed him last year. What the fuck are you talking about? Now I got to figure out how to get rid of you.
Hey, we got rid of Jaco DeRizzi. We can get rid of him.
Yeah, well, this dude makes $18-19 million a year.
We got another Brandon Cook. Damn it, man. How many years you got?
Too many. Like I'm gonna be honest, this is gonna sound messed up. I don't care if you ever throw a pitch again for the Houston Astros. I really don't.
He's about to be 30. I am 30, so I know that hurts. So I don't want him in.
Watch it.
Hey.
I'm older than that, bro.
Yeah, come on there, Nick. It gets better once you get older.
Oh, it's not that bad. He's only getting $15 million next year.
I always say because of COVID, then I could take 2 years off my age.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
No, my 30th birthday was in the middle of COVID. I'm like, I don't really think I got a 30th. Hell, the only thing I remember about my 30th birthday was seeing Dak Prescott break his leg.
Oh, I remember that.
That was it.
Oh, this
terrible injury.
This contract is
terrible.
This contract is probably worse than my Texans.
Looking at McCullers' career stats, it's just weird how many games he starts because obviously 22 games started rookie year, and then every other year it seems like he has a slight drop off, and then a great year after that. Slight drop off, great year after that, and then you eliminate the COVID year because 60 games. How much can you account for that?
Well,
and what did you say, Nick? He's only 30?
He's 29.
Yeah, so
yeah,
he'll definitely be in the league for a while. It's just depending on the uniform.
Well, he'll be making 17, 17, and 17 the next 3 years.
Not on my team.
And at this point, if they got rid of Dallas Keuchel, man, you just toss him up, bro. Bye.
Yeah, no, that's true. And you have Javier Valdez right there. Are either of them extended or like not even near that
I
time
think
yet?
Fromber has one more year on his deal. I think Christian Javier we're good with. Luis, I think we have one more year, which I would like to keep all of them.
Oh,
Hunter
yeah.
Brown, we got him sewed up for a while.
I was gonna say Framber's gonna get a massive deal when it comes down to it. Not many left-handers do what he does other than Max Fried, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Julio Urias, but like
How
I
do
said,
y'all-
maybe a handful.
How do y'all feel about Stephen Kwan winning Gold Glove in left field? What's y'all's take on that?
I wonder what
You know why I'm
I checked
happy
the
to see it?
finalist was. Go ahead.
Because you look at him and you could be like, he's a baseball lifer. Like the dude just plays baseball. And you like that shit's good for them. You know what I mean?
Well, like as a rookie, that's.
I mean, it's not his fault he got good early.
Well,
No,
I don't know. I'm saying that's crazy. Like all these other people out there who play left field in the American League, as good as the American League is, you're gonna get beat out by a rookie in Cleveland.
he had a massive start to the year. I remember with all the records he was breaking as a rookie, and then he ended it on a high note. And obviously, the voting doesn't count postseason, but he had one of the best division series as a rookie ever. I think he had 12 hits against the Yankees in those 5 games.
I think he hit like 3 home runs to start the year, like as a rookie.
The kid was he was hitting like a number 4 batter in the lineup. Meanwhile, he's your leadoff hitter. But the Gold Glove finalists were weird this year. I'm looking at it: Andrew Benintendi, Brandon Marsh, and Kwan. So the 2 guys that lost were traded at mid-season into another league for Brandon Marsh, and Benintendi was Royals to Yankees, and he got hurt. So
I'm so happy for Brandon Marsh. He got the fuck out of LA, and he'll probably win a ring. He has a chance to win a ring.
Yeah.
Not if we have something to say about it.
I was gonna say, eliminate the ring for a sec. He made himself so much money this postseason on what he's done. You get paid on the postseason performance, and like, what was his name? Anthony Rendon. Look at that contract now. But that 2019 World Series was nail in the coffin with that contract.
I think I'm just going to end my thought at the end of that first sentence. My boy got the hell out of L.A., period. That's the good thing for him.
Syndergaard, too. He followed them.
I don't get how that team has that much talent, and they got eliminated in August.
Dude, it felt like
because
sooner.
they don't care.
That losing
because it's L.A.
Yeah.
Trade Trout, trade Shohei, just completely rebuild your entire franchise if you're gonna be eliminated in August.
They're gonna sell the team first. If ownership is still there in like that whole, we're the Angels, we're the Disney team, we do things our way. It's never gonna change. Same thing with Pittsburgh. It's the same thing with the Oakland, soon to be Vegas A's.
Pittsburgh's gonna be good in like 3 years, 4 years. Pittsburgh's
and then they're going to trade off all those assets because, we can't go and pay them because the owners in Pittsburgh don't want to keep their payroll up above like $50 million.
O'Neal Cruz is a stud.
Yep. Yeah, he'll be a stud in pinstripes. I have no faith Pittsburgh will win a World Series in my lifetime.
The only guy we saw them give money to was Brian Hayes, and when you look at it, you're like, why'd that guy take the deal? You could have made more on the open market.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I'm a Red Sox fan, so I have my own issues that I don't want to get into right now because we'll be here all night. But I'm an Atlanta Braves fan, and it's amazing what AA has been doing. All these rookies, like Michael Harris II,
Spencer
Strider, like they're coming up and they're signing these extensions that are for like chump change that they could be making on the market based off of what they put out there this year. Especially Strider.
It all started with Ozzy Albies. What was it, 5 or 7 years for 35?
Yeah. Acuna was the outlier. He signed the big deal. But even that was like for 120 million, something like that.
Yeah, looking at it before the injury, you're like, damn, he took such a less amount, and then he got hurt,
Yeah.
and you're like, it makes sense. Insurance
Baseball
plan.
deals are getting crazy just with the length of contracts.
Well, it's the same thing as seeing an Ilya Kovalchuk in the NHL getting a 15-year deal for, I think it was like almost a record $100 million. It was all backloaded. Or no, I'm sorry, it was all front loaded. So in the last few years of the contract, he'd only be getting like a base of $1 million. He'd get all of his money up front. And the NHL finally stepped in and was like, we can't do this anymore. We know what you guys are doing. Stop it.
What was it? I'm trying to think of the really big one that happened this offseason. What was that monster deal?
You said during the off season?
Yeah, it happened. Like somebody just signed it. It was like a 13-year extension or something like that.
Julio Rodriguez?
Yeah, Julio. He signed like a 13 or 14 year for like 650 or something like that.
Yeah, it ranged out to like 275, but if he plays through it and everything goes as planned, it's like 405 or something like that. There was such a huge gap, and it's like you can't even remember it from. I think it happened in August.
Via Spot Track, he signed a 12-year, $209 million contract extension with the Mariners, $15 million signing bonus, and the first club option isn't until his age 29 season.
That's been, what, 8 years? 7 years?
I think he's only 21, 22 right
Seven.
7.
Yeah, he just ended his age 21. He'll be age 22 season next year. If he plays through this entire contract, he wouldn't be a free agent until 2035 when he's entering his age 34 season. And at that point, it's like, why?
Just retire.
now.
Well, yeah, obviously, just retire. You got $200 million, but no team is going to look at a 35-year-old baseball player and say, yeah, we're going to give you top dollar. It's why I have a little bit of an issue with Aaron Judge. You know, he outplayed what he should be worth, and he's going to want what he thinks he's worth, and no team is going to go for it.
No.
He's thinking, I'm going to get 40 to 50 million a year, and if I'm a GM, I'm like, dude, you're 6'7", and you're now entering the wrong side of 30, and there is no precedent for a 6'7" baseball player breaking down.
We'll see one of those desperate teams do it. I feel like we always do. Every time.
Oh yeah, like the Angels a few years ago was signing Anthony Rodon.
Yep, exactly. And even as much as it was a good move overall, I just didn't like it. Marcus Semien and Corey Seager last year, $500 million between the two. It's insane.
Oh yeah, that was Texas, right?
Yep.
I think that might have been the big deal. One of you guys was talking about was Texas signing Corey Seager for like $500 million or something, or some ridiculous number. And what'd they do?
Fourth place, maybe even fifth. Well, fourth because Oakland.
Yeah, fourth because Oakland would just. That's a sad state of affairs there.
All right, that's the game. McCormick goes down looking at strike 3. The Phillies complete the shutout. Yeah, there's really not a whole lot to say here. The Houston totaled 6 hits. 5 hits.
Some bullshit.
Thank you, Dusty.
Five
hits for the Houston Astros. McCullers gets the loss. 6 hits, 7 earned. Looking over at Philly, Ranger Suarez is going to get the win. 3 hits, no earned, 4 Ks. Schwarber hit a bomb. Rhys Hoskins hit a bomb. Harper hit a bomb. Alex Baum hit a bomb. And Brandon Marsh hit a bomb. I mean, it bombs away here in Philly. Looking like the Yankees.
Yeah, and as much as it was the blend of the long ball, a lot of it was solo homers. They just kept
Yeah,
pounding.
the only one that was a multi was multi, like a more than one run, was Bryce's in the first inning, right?
Schwarber.
No, it was Schwarber.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Schwarber had a 2-run shot too, right?
It was Schwarber and Harper.
And for the most part, the Phillies held on to their bullpen because no legitimate guys pitched after the 6th. Brogdon, Gibson, Nelson, and Belletti.
Yep.
So they got everyone for tomorrow, and that's 3 days rest, considering the travel day, the rain out yesterday and tonight.
We'll show up tomorrow. I ain't worried about that.
Christian Javier time.
Yeah, Stanek threw 2/10. Quiddy went the other 3. This is the line that kind of surprised me. They did what y'all thought the Astros were gonna do, the Suarez, and then they went 1-1-1-1-1.
Yep, bullpen. People say closer by committee, but it was bullpen by committee.
I'm surprised Nelson threw 30 pitches. I mean, you see this. Brogdon threw 13, Gibson threw 15, Belletti threw 14, and then there's this outliner here, and Nelson throwing 30.
Well, that was the top of the 8th where Houston was starting to maybe look like they were waking up a little bit. But ultimately, anything.
Was that when they had runners on second and third, and then Tuve popped up? Yeah.
Yep.
They were working the count way more because other than the 2 walks, it was a calm inning for Nelson.
I'm pretty shocked at how calm I am after this route. But I think it's because I kind of already knew it with Lance. Or I get the guy I really wanted to see pitch. So if tomorrow something like this happens, then you'll see me like.
All right, but any closing thoughts from anybody?
I'm already looking forward to tomorrow. I think Christian Javier, that's the guy you want on the mound out of everyone in the Houston rotation. We saw Verlander's struggles in the World Series. You got to have Christian Javier on the mound. And other than that, it would be Valdez, but he pitched in Game 2. So,
and I'm gonna warn you about, if y'all are not familiar with Javier, he still might give up 2 home runs.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what he does.
Yeah.
But then he's gonna go 9 out. You know what I'm saying? He'll go through the lineup one time before he does anything else. So I'm cool with that, though. We just got to hit the ball. We cannot put up another goose egg tomorrow. Can't do it.
They got to help him.
Especially the 1 through 5 batters. That's the biggest concern out of Houston right now. One of them, 2 of them get going. Like you said, Altuve gets going, the Astros win.
Absolutely.
There's so much pressure on Pena to have to do something when Altuve just goes up there swinging at the first pitch. Because essentially, you just made Pena the leadoff.
Basically.
I don't know. We'll be all right.
There's definitely something going on with Altuve. I really can't put a finger on what it is, whether it's just bad timing with a bad case of the can't hit for shits.
But he was on fire the other day.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's mystifying is he'll have the one game where he's like 3 for 5, and then he goes through another stretch of 6 or 7 where he's over 20.
Yeah, but that's because we're not playing every day. Like during the season, he would get in these slumps, and then he'd have like the best 17 days you ever seen.
Yep.
But when you play one game and then you don't play again for 2 more days, I mean, you lose it. And I'm not making an excuse, but I know Altuve. He's not a thinking man. He's a doer. He's Forrest Gump, like I said. He just does. So for him to sit there for 2 days, I mean, anything he talked himself into to do well the other day, that's gone. So we'll get it together.
Absolutely. All right. I don't know if we'll be back for game 4 tomorrow, but probably something for game 5, boys.
Definitely. We'll figure something out. But
all right, sounds
thanks.
good. But either way, we got shit going on all week. Tune into the SLG. We got shit for y'all. All right. Peace.
I gotta pee.
Spending money like it's nothing. I don't have a budget. Please don't get offended when you see the kids.